everybody. What's up? It's just me, it looks like. I'll give it a couple minutes, and then if nothing happens, I'll start the replay, and maybe some folks will come in during the replay. Not a big deal. I hope everybody's having a good night. So while that's happening, I'll go ahead and get that ready while I'm the only one in the room, which is fine. Good. I'm in pretty good spirits like I was Wednesday night. We're going to do not a paranormal one for those that might be watching and not say anything. I don't think anybody's watching at the moment. So I'll let everybody know. We're going to deviate from the paranormal and do 4 incredibly strange unsolved disappearances. Do some of those. Take a break from the booze and the scaries and the vampires. Okay. Well, I'll sit here and entertain myself. Well, I'm good at talking to myself, so I don't mind. Other than that, I'm just hanging. I got everything set up and ready to go. So all I have to do is start this fun time when folks come in. If nobody comes in, I'll just start the replay and sit back and watch it and say hi to people as they come in. I started a little late. I was going to start at midnight, but I wanted to get it early. Just jump tonight. I got a few things I got to do in the morning. No big deal. I just want to do some trimming. Hey, Johnny Topside, how are you? I hope you are well. With the kitty in the bag or box. That's probably a box. How are you? I hope you're doing fine. Thanks for showing up. I'll start to upload about 11:30. Yeah. Hey, this is Miss Vixen. How are you doing, dear? I'm going to get a box. I got a box. I'm going to be shipping those here soon. I keep saying that, but I'm serious. He's trying to pick out ones that are not too big for you. Well, Mr. Nighthawk, how are you, sir? I am good. Not much. Just getting ready to do some replay. Well, I'm going to do one tonight. It's a long one. We're going to go to disappearances tonight. We're going to take a break from the scary and the booze and the vampires and do 4 strange disappearances. So it's a good one. It's one of my favorites. I hope you're having a good time. I have been so busy tonight. I haven't been able to really watch anybody's streams. I've been watching replays when I can. It's been go, go, go. And thank you, Miss Vixen, for the bacon. Yep, on Saturday nights, just so you know, Johnny, it's just me, but I appreciate you being here. Hang out for a while. Like I said, I'm going to do one of her uploads. It's 3 years old. And like I said, it's about 4 disappearances. It's a little long. That's why I figured I'd just do one tonight. And then we do a little talking in between. If people come in and get to gabbing, then there's always chat, a little bit of chat afterwards. I do this kind of bring back some of her older catalog, get people interested in going back and looking at the older stuff. It's neat to watch her change through the years. It's hard to believe she's been doing this like 4.5 years almost now. I know 4 years for sure. I think it's a little over that. Things are changing. So, and she just needed to take care of some things last Friday. So we'll see what's going on. She'll contact you folks or put a post up or something, let you know what the deal is. I'm here, and that's a good thing. So, she's busy. She's just trying to catch up. School ending. She's trying to get him taken care of, spend time with him before he goes back to school. I get it. A little time with the son and the family. So, yeah. And like I said, we're just going to hang out. I'm going to play this one. It's like 53 minutes. It's one of her long ones, but it's a good one. I like this one. It's pretty much ready to go. Let me make sure something real quick. I'll get dark. It's just the screen. Yeah, it's 4 incredibly strange unsolved disappearances. And it's a good one. It's 3 years old. And then next week, maybe I'll do a couple more of those. I'm trying to mix it up. now just to kind of mix it up. I try to do, like last week we did vampires. Oh, excuse me. I ate a quick dinner early, late. Well, kind of late. We usually eat at 5 or 6. We ate kind of late tonight. Everybody was kind of nitpicking. We have a sick little puppy dog. He's not having a bad day, bless his heart. So we're keeping an eye on him. He's with his buddy right now upstairs. But Puff is not feeling good, so keep a little extra prayer for the puppy dog. Puff the magic dog is what we call him. He is 8 years old, so he's not like, he's old, but he's really old in dog years. So the old man's finally saying the Pops, he's catching up with me. Yeah, he is. But yeah, he's not been very active today. A little bloated. We don't know what he got into. We do have a hornet's nest, but we didn't find no stings. So. We're just keeping an eye on him. Had a little trouble getting up the stairs coming in a couple times, so we had to carry him in. He didn't like that, so that means his belly may be kind of touchy. But yeah, so that's been my day today, is just kind of watching over him and Pop. So I kind of had, I wouldn't say an easy day, because I still got stuff done. I hope everybody's having a good week. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it so much. When are you going to do a podcast about encounters? Who, me? That I leave for Gemma because she likes to do that stuff together. And right now we're just trying to figure things out. I've done encounters. I used to do them on Wednesday nights, but everybody just got to talking, so I just let it go. But I don't know, if you want one, I could do one. Or I could just, when I can get it Sunday, I can get up and get on your show. I miss your Friday show because when she didn't stream, I just took care of business. And so I didn't get on anything until late that night. I needed a break too, to be honest. But I got stuff done. But I want to get back on your show. That was a fun Sunday. I enjoyed that. But if you want to talk about encounters, yeah, we can do that. Or you can come on Wednesday night, if you're up to it, and visit with me here on a Wednesday night. But that's up to you. But you're more than welcome. Let me know. And if I send you the email, make sure you get it. And I'll send you the link and all that. Or you just show up and chat and I'll pop it up. I don't do like talk where people just come in. I've had too many. I've seen things. I mean, so far, everybody that does it, I've been lucky. But I've seen things go down, and this is Gemma's channel, so I don't want to take any chances, which is understandable, I would think. But yeah, if you want to come on here, that would be awesome. We could do that. If you want to do it this Wednesday, we could do it, but you have to let me know. Well, and hopefully I can be there tomorrow, depending on how much work I get done. I've been getting up early because it's been so nasty in the air quality. It's not the heat and the humidity that kills me, it's the air quality. Ever since I got sick. So yeah. Can you bring your next Sunday? Can you bring you on next Sunday at 11? Not this Sunday, but next Sunday? Yeah, I can do that. I can make arrangements for that. That way I'm planned. Yeah, I can do that. I'll even write that down on my trusty notepad. I keep a clipboard with me. Yeah, I don't want to dig it up. It's right here. It's got stuff sitting on it. But next Sunday, this Sunday or next Sunday? So I can definitely do next Sunday. I just got to get up and do some work, and I don't know how. I want to be done early because usually Sundays are my days, and it hasn't been like that lately. Sounds good. Yeah, okay. We can do next Sunday, not this Sunday, but the week from tomorrow. Yeah, I'll come on. And this way I write it down, and I make sure everybody in the household knows that after 10:30 I'm off. Yeah, let me write that down. That would be the 17th. Are you talking about the 17th? Thank you, Nightmare. And how are you, good person, sir? So we discussed this. Yeah, that's okay. That sounds good. 17th. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I'd do that. Gotcha. Next Sunday. Sunday. I'm in good spirits. Forgive me. Yeah, thank you, Nightmare. He's my him and Chris are my people that come in and out of nowhere and just post stuff. It's autocorrect. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, he's the man. Him and Chris, him and Chris are probably they just come out of nowhere and post stuff just when I need them to, or no, they answer when I need it when I can't get it out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll be there on the 17th. Book me in on the 17th. I'll show up. That's why everybody knows that I'm off that day, at least for a couple hours. An hour's what, tops? You usually stream, what, about an hour or so? Yeah, that's good. I can do that. That way I can make sure I'm in here. Yeah, I tried. Usually Sundays are my days, and I usually chill on Sundays. But I've had a couple days like that where I was able to get a lot of work done early. But the problem was I was working outside. By the time I came inside, I was just too pooped. Poor Gemma. She didn't hear from me at all Friday till later in the evening, about 4:30, 5 o'clock. It was about 4:30 is when she told me what was going on and said she wasn't going to stream. She had to do some things, and I was like, well, but I got up that morning, cut grass, and power washed a lot of stuff, trying to get everything ready for winter or for the fall. There's a lot of trees around here, so there's a lot of leaf raking. But the colors have been so off this year around here. You almost have to go south to see the good colors. Like we got leaves falling off trees already. It's so dry here. We have a birch tree right out back, man. It's just shedding skin all over the place. Leaves are falling and drying up. They're green. They're just falling off, and you pick it up. It's so dry. Then we have a good old oak in the back. There used to be trees all over this neighborhood, but we started cutting down. I'm just glad they cut. As much as I hated seeing them cut down, we had this huge cottonwood tree just across the street right out front. This thing was huge. It took 3 people to put their arms around it. You know this, baby. You've seen dinosaurs. Let's put it that way. Well, man, it sheds that cotton, and that's one of my big allergies during the spring. Man, it looks like it's snowing. And then the ones out of the cemetery, life cycles for everything is mixed up. Yes, it is, big time. You nailed that, sir. Yep, it is. Everything is getting interesting. Let's just put it that way. It is definitely getting interesting. And I've been saying this for a couple of years now. You think it's strange now. It's only going to get weirder. It's only going to get stranger. It's going to get not good, folks. So, hold on to your butts. And if you got faith, you better hang on to it. Make things right, because it's going to get interesting. Everything's starting to look a little crazy. You got Earth activities going on. You got volcanoes. Number of fault lines are locked and ready to go. A lot more than people realize. There's lava moving big time underneath the Earth. So what's making that all happen? Well, everything's connected to the great forces of beyond the great barrier of this planet. If you go look at the moon, look how, I don't know about you folks, but here in Ohio, that moon is so bright. And it almost looks different. And it looks closer than it usually should be for here this time of year. And it just is bright. Now, I know we just had a full moon, or it's tonight, actually. Yeah, the full moon's tonight. But you go out there and look at it. Go get a telescope and look at that moon. It looks it. It's bright too. I think something's out there. Something big is out there, tugging on the forces of nature. But that's my personal opinion. But yes, everything has a cycle. Everything is connected. That is a fact. And I'll stand by that. But yeah, let's get this rocking. What time we got? 11:30. Let me go ahead and first this. Last night was a strawberry moon. Yeah, I wasn't very strawberry here. It was pretty much just bright. We didn't have much color here. My window faces it. It literally, I can sit here. Right now it's behind a tree, but pretty soon it'll be right where. Then I have a view of my window where for about an hour, I have no trees and I can literally lay in bed and watch it pass. Sometimes the other night I just sat there on the edge of bed. Well, I didn't sit. I kind of curled my pillow up and I don't sleep still. And I just laid there and watched the moon pass until I finally fell asleep. And that was probably 4. But there wasn't much color here. Unless my windows are clean. So, yeah, the Black Knight satellite. Yeah, they're talking about that again. Well, that's a bigger than Black Knight. There is something large out there coming this way. And they're all kind of arguing, is it just another meteor or is it something else? Because it seems to have corrected itself a couple times. They don't talk about that. You have to go dig for that information. And they think it's going to try to do what Amua did. That's that big long one that passed a few years back, where it used the sun to slingshot it. It even corrected its point. So that's another thing. They don't tell you these things are correcting themselves. So it's interesting. Yeah, currently located in no Saturn. Yep. In fact, there's a couple of videos on that out there now about it. But yes, personally, it's big. Could be another planet. They're keeping the confusion going, is what I should say. Yeah, because you're never going to get a direct answer. You won't. Until it gets close enough that everybody's seen it with their telescopes. They don't have no choice. We'll see. But something's definitely pulling on this Earth and the moon and the sun. If you notice, the sun's been like acting crazy lately. So yeah, sun's real active. The moon's bright. Like I said, it's just, I was watching it. Well, when I was laying there, before I laid there, I had a telescope out. And it's perfect because like I said, once it gets to this one point in my window, I mean, like I said, I got a good while I can watch it. Anunnaki tech. And what are the Anunnaki? Personally, I believe they are the fallen angels. Some are wondering if it's the Hopi blue. Yeah. Well, you have, now, correct me if I'm right, you have the red Kachina, the blue Kachina, the yellow Kachina. Isn't there a green Kachina or something like that too? If my memory serves me right. A lot of people think it's them or the Yeti, the blue Yeti. Well, these Kachinas planets are supposed to be following Nibiru or Planet X, the planet with the wings. Now, for a while there, Google Earth was hiding a spot on the Google universe. They had it blacked out, and for some reason it got unblacked out, and it looked like a planet with wings. And then it got blacked out again, and it's moved now. So who knows? It's funny when you go look at Google stuff like Google Earth and Google Universe, you see stuff that's blacked out. You know that's not real. That was pasted in there. It's Kachina. Okay, thank you. You get talking about some of the mound builders like Hopewell and the Adina. And then I get talking to Miley because it may be a little bit of Crow because I believe somebody said they had Crow in the family, but my brother's doing a genealogy now. So far, we're pretty much Vikings up until we hit the islands before we crossed over. And I believe from what he is saying, we came through Canada. So I don't know. But then also heard about family coming over on a boat. So he's working on it. Yes, the Kachina itself is based off the alien god Scott Beats. Thank you. I wasn't sure. I get some of that stuff mixed up because there's so much information in it. And it's kind of the same. If you look at it, it's all the same information, but you want to get each story right. And sometimes there's so many different lore on this, and there's a lot of it actually. A lot of talk, in a lot of different countries, and a lot of different languages about this. It's like the flood. You know, that flood happened everywhere because everybody has the same story. But they don't tell you what it was. But they don't tell you what it was really like before the flood, with magic, technology ruled together. They want you to think that it wasn't like that, but it was. They had technology we did not have and cannot copy. And their technology was more nature based. They became selfish, foolish, and self centered. But those are my beliefs. Pretty much what's going on. History repeats itself. It does do that. But let me get on with this next one. I'm just babbling now. My thoughts are pretty interesting. I get a lot of crap for it, but hey, I've done my research. I got formed my own opinion. Let me get this ready to go. This one. Well, hello, Gemma. Okay. This one was done in January 27th, 2022. Archaeology is finally admitting that there are signs of human habitation on this continent long before. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Long before the land bridge. Oh, definitely. But what do you think when they flooded? You know, there was a lot of land before the good Lord flooded it. But that's my opinion. Okay, let me get rid of that and get it on here. Still getting used. They keep changing my setup on this StreamYard. Okay, there it is. Share. Let me make her big. There we go. Give her the room and let me. I love that episode. What a place to stop. Bless her. Let me get a better way here. No, that's even worse. There we go. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure we're all good. Get me flipped around here. There we go. Here we go. Miss Gemma Jade, this is again for the strangely disappearances from about 3 years ago, January 27th, 2022. Okay. And I'm going to turn my mic off. Please chat it up. Enjoy the video. I'll be right here talking with you guys. Just don't forgive me. I'm not a very good typer tonight, so just kind of bear with me. All right, here we go. Let me turn. Oh, I'm going to leave it on until I start it. If there's any sound issues, please let me know. My sound's pretty good. It sounded good, so here we go.
The people of these cases that I used to cover. You guys know I got out of true crime. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing some unsolved true crime cases. I know a lot of you have gotten used to the paranormal, and I'm so excited about that, but we can't forget the people too, the people of these cases that I used to cover. You guys know I got out of true crime, and yeah, I'm already rambling a little bit, but it's really important that these people are not forgotten. So I was going through all of my scripts and kind of seeing what was finished and what wasn't. I have a lot of stuff that I have to finish because I start things and then I'm like, ooh, kitty, and I go on to something else. But these were scripts that I either wrote for myself or for Missing Persons and Mysteries that I kind of made my own. And I want to get these stories out too. A lot of them are very old and, unsolved. So with that being said, I'm going to fit as many as I can on this video, do a part 2, and then we'll move on from there. I'm still working on Missing in the Fae part 4 for this channel. It's brand new, all new information, not in my book and not on MPNM and not on this channel yet. So it's taking me a little time, but it's coming. All right. We're going to start with the case of Carla Beth Anderson. And I mean, I'm not even going to put introductions here. I'm just going to get into the story. 23-year-old Carla Beth Anderson called her mother on the night of Friday, November 13th, 1987, to tell her some very exciting news. Carla had just been made Employee of the Month at her job at the local Hardee's fast food restaurant in Wadena, Minnesota, where she worked. Carla Beth was bursting with excitement, and her mother, Roberta Wells, was beaming with pride at her daughter's achievement. She and Carla's father, Vern, knew the honor meant so much to their daughter. Carla had a mild intellectual disability, but she never let it stand in her way, and she just lived her life to the fullest. It never stood in the way of her goals. She achieved all of them. Roberta and Vern told their daughter they were going to take her out to dinner to celebrate later on that night when her shift ended. So when Carla's shift ended, her parents picked her up from work and, as promised, asked her where she would like to go for this little celebratory family dinner. Carla chose a local restaurant which served Mexican food. The family went to the Taco John's Mexican restaurant, and Carla excitedly announced she was going to have her picture taken that Monday, and it would then be added to where the previous Employee of the Month pictures went. So on the wall. This is kind of exciting. She's 23 years old. This might be her first job, and she's doing so well and really excelling at it. So I can see why, even, the source material made it seem like because she was intellectually, mildly intellectually disabled, that this was the reason she was excited. But I feel like this is exciting. Your first job, your Employee of the Month. The family discussed how that Sunday Roberta and Vern would be heading to the cabin they were in the process of building to get some much needed work done, and Carla volunteered to go along and help. Mother and daughter then discussed how she would style her hair for her upcoming Employee of the Month photo. It was all very normal. It was even mundane. Carla and her parents left the Taco John's restaurant at around 7:30 p.m. and headed to a local video rental store to check out some movies. Remember that? Do you remember that? The local like mom and pop dollar videos, and then they were like all gone once Blockbuster came out? Anyways, Carla was dropped off at her apartment just a few minutes before 8 p.m. As her parents waved goodbye to their daughter, they told her again how proud they were of her, and she told them she was just going to watch some of the rented videos, head to bed. She was still holding the fountain soda from the dinner out as she walked into her apartment and shut the door. Carla lived in the Greenwood Apartments, which was a complex which specifically housed mentally disabled people and the elderly. It was a place where Carla felt safe, and her parents felt comfortable leaving her there to live on her own. The town of Wadena itself was considered to be an extremely safe place to live back in 1987. In fact, in 2021, Wadena is described by people who live there as, quote, close-knit, friendly, and very safe, end quote. The Greenwood apartment complex had a locked security door, and only residents had the key. You would have to get into this door in order to access any of the apartments inside. So kind of like a hotel, I guess, without the main lobby. I'm not sure if they had a lobby, but like how you have to, like, if you go out a side door, you have to put your key in to get into the hotel, and then you have the key to the room. That's what this apartment complex was like. Carla loved the independence of having her own place, and this was said to be another thing that made her feel extremely proud of herself. She only lived about a half of a mile from the Hardee's where she worked and always walked to work, so she didn't have to rely on anyone to give her rides to and from work each day. This was a very independent young woman. I mean, heck, I'm proud of her, and I don't even know her. Carla was described by her superiors as, quote, extremely dependable, end of quote, and she was said to always arrive early before her scheduled shifts would even start. This made things all the more alarming when Saturday morning came and Carla was a no-call, no-show at work. The manager at the time, a young man fresh out of college himself, who would later go on to become mayor of the small town, Wayne Walden, was immediately alarmed. So this guy was just out of college, managing this Hardee's, ended up becoming the mayor later on. His name was Wayne Walden. Carla was his most dependable employee, and he knew immediately something was very wrong for her to have not only not shown up, but not even called. Wayne called Carla's parents, and they in turn drove to her apartment. Immediately upon noticing that Carla's car wasn't home, they called the police. Right away, the police took Carla's disappearance very seriously. Her mental disability made her especially vulnerable and made her disappearance a top priority. She was only 4'9" and could very easily be mistaken for a little girl, which added to the concerns of both her parents and the police. At a mere 80 pounds, she could have easily and very quickly been overpowered. When detectives entered her apartment, they found nothing at all amiss, suspicious, or out of place. There were no obvious signs of a struggle, and one of the videotapes she had rented the night before was still in her VCR. VCR, wow. Her fountain drink from the restaurant was sitting on the coffee table, and her purse was on the counter. The only things that were missing were her keys and her orange and brown employee's jacket from Hardee's. The fact that the door had been locked from the outside led police to believe she left her apartment willingly. Whether she was alone or with someone was a mystery, though. So she had put on her jacket and left the apartment and locked it. So she had her keys. The investigators had also discovered that the security door, which was supposed to remain locked at all times, had been left propped open the night before by some new tenants who had left it that way after moving their belongings into their apartment. How incredibly irresponsible. Like, you're just moving in and now you leave the entire apartment complex, who was filled with mentally disabled and elderly, vulnerable to the outside world. To be fair, whoever was moving in had to have been either mentally disabled in some way or elderly. So I guess, okay, Gemma, give them a break. Detectives were unable to determine if this had anything to do with Carla's disappearance, however, as back in 1987, it was not common for surveillance cameras to be monitoring residential homes. In fact, the use of surveillance cameras was relatively unheard of at all for public places back then. So going to, Hardee's or going to the grocery store or wherever. I think banks were the only places, one of at least the only places, like businesses maybe, but residential homes, there was no such thing as like Ring doorbells or, home security cameras. I think those were for like the wealthy. On the night of November 13th, a fire had broken out in a swampy area of Wadena. Peat, present in large amounts in swamps, is extremely combustible. If a fire starts, it can be hard to control and it can get out of control very quickly. The fire would have definitely been visible from the windows in Carla's apartment, and investigators wondered if she had become curious and decided to take a walk nearer to where the swamp was to get a better look at this fire. Had she left her apartment alone and run into some trouble at some point while further investigating the blaze? A large-scale search was conducted with search teams combing through the area surrounding the Greenwood apartments, while detectives went door to door trying to find anyone who might have seen Carla after her parents dropped her off Friday night or heard anything suspicious or whatever. Unfortunately, they were unable to locate anyone who recalled seeing Carla. Although they still believed it was possible she might have left to see the swamp fire, they were unable to find any evidence to back up this theory or really any other. The fire was not the only event taking place close to her home that night. A brown Plymouth Horizon was found stolen a couple of blocks from her apartment complex, and it was never recovered. There is no proof the auto theft is related to her disappearance, though. Extensive air and ground searches also failed to produce any clues to Carla's whereabouts. Search teams spent hours scouring swamps and wooded areas, aided by 50 members of the Civil Air Patrol. Several of Carla's coworkers volunteered to help in the search. Wayne Walden said that the entire restaurant crew had been devastated by Carla's disappearance, and they wanted to do everything they possibly could to help in finding her. Hardee's supplied food and drinks throughout the search effort, which lasted actually for several weeks. Detectives interviewed Carla's family members, friends, and neighbors, but no one had any idea what might have happened to Carla. Investigators interviewed her boyfriend, who lived in Illinois, several times as well. Eventually, authorities announced that they had cleared Carla's family and boyfriend from having any involvement in her disappearance. Although the detectives were convinced that Carla met with foul play, they had few leads and no suspects. They received a number of tips early in the investigation, but all of them led to dead ends. Hoping to increase public interest in the case, Carla's family announced that they were offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to Carla's whereabouts or the identity of the person responsible for her disappearance. $10,000 was worth a lot more in 1987 than it is in 2022. A few more tips trickled in, but police were never able to develop any solid leads. Both of Carla's parents died in 2008 without ever knowing what happened to their daughter that fateful November night so long ago. Her case remains unsolved, and there have been no solid leads or new evidence presented to be investigated since the initial search was conducted and leads were investigated. If you knew Carla and have proof of the relationship, feel free to contact the Echoes Path administration on social media or via email. Her page will be uploaded with more information if sources are provided. Please contact the Wadena Police Department at 218-631-7700. And that info, everything I just said, will be in the description box. If you saw or heard something around the time Carla disappeared, more information is desperately needed to solve this case, and any information you can provide to authorities could be extremely helpful, and even the smallest bit of information could bring this tragic and extremely mysterious case to a close. Guys, even if you think it means nothing, you are not an investigator, most likely, so you wouldn't even know. If you know something, if you did something, don't be a coward. 1987 was a long time ago, okay? Come forward. Carla had, I'm sure, more family and people that cared about her. Wayne Wolden, who became the mayor of Wadena, they all cared for her. So just because her parents are deceased doesn't mean nobody's wondering what happened to Carla. I'm sure the investigators got very invested as well. Our next case is Courtney Bryan, who went missing from Shasta Trinity National Forest. 32-year-old Courtney Bryan and her beloved dog Booch decided to get away after Courtney finished her shift at Patagonia, where she works in the repairs department in Reno, Nevada, United States. Courtney's grandfather had died a week earlier on September 16th, and she had taken a few days off for a period of bereavement. Her last Instagram post shows the blonde-haired beauty gazing into the camera as she floated in the serene waters of Hunt Hot Springs in Shasta Trinity Forest in California. I'll try to put pictures, but I'm having a hard time with them with copyright and the new software, so I'm really sorry. A lot of you have been like, you need to put pictures. I'm trying my best. It will eventually come. This picture was uploaded on September 23rd, 2021, and was the last time anything was seen or heard from Courtney. There haven't been any calls or texts responded to or that came from her phone since that day either. Courtney's family is obviously frantic with worry, and they say that while she was known to be a free spirit who would travel often by herself, she was definitely not someone who would take off or go off grid without letting her family know when she was returning, or if her plans changed and she decided to stay longer, where she was, all of that stuff. She would let at least someone know. Even if she needed a day or two without her phone or social media, she would always tell her loved ones so they didn't worry if they needed to contact her or if they couldn't get in touch with her. All in all, this is completely and totally out of character for her. Her sister, Katana, stated, quote, "It makes sense that she wanted to get away, but she would have been back by now. She wouldn't let us worry," end quote. Courtney didn't return to work as planned on September 27th, and that's when everyone knew that something was horribly wrong. Her family reported her as missing, and with the help of her phone records, it was found that her last texts and calls were made the same day that her last social media post was made to Instagram, as I previously described. Katana told Dateline her sister had called a former boyfriend to get directions to Hunt Hot Springs in Shasta Trinity National Forest, which is where, as I said, the last Instagram photo that was uploaded was taken. Courtney's last text was to a friend at 9:03 p.m. that same day. It was simply a link to a song on Spotify. Deputies with the Shasta County Sheriff's Office are investigating Courtney's disappearance, and according to a press release, her early 2000s red Subaru Outback with Nevada license plate LG0637 is also still missing, as is her beloved dog, Booch. Neither has been located. Booch is a black and white border collie and wolf mix that goes everywhere with Courtney. Katana told investigators and media that her sister is an avid climber and hiker who would often go away to the California mountains for retreats to be by herself. Courtney also has a cat, which was left at her home in Reno and was still there when her family and investigators arrived to search the residence when they were looking for any clues as to her whereabouts. The investigators found nothing, and everything looked completely normal as far as Courtney's home was concerned. Quote, "She left her cat here at the apartment, so I know she was planning on coming back," Katana said. She also said, quote, "She loved her animals and her plants. She would never leave them like this," end of quote. Katana told Dateline that she also knows her sister would never leave her nephew, who is her whole entire world. Courtney's family has been in very close contact with deputies as they go about investigating this case. There have been several sightings of Courtney since she disappeared, but none have turned out to be her. As the younger sister and Courtney's only sibling, Katana has turned to social media, specifically TikTok, to help spread the news of her sister's disappearance in the hope someone will spot her and come forward with information. Quote, "It's worked for other cases in missing people," end of quote, Katana said. "So now I'm hoping TikTok comes through for us. Please help me find my sister," end quote. Courtney is described as being 5'7" tall and weighs about 120 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. She has 2 tattoos, a star on the inside of her right wrist and a geometric honeycomb on her calf. Courtney's case has been transferred for unknown reasons from the Shasta County Sheriff's Department to the Reno Police Department. Anyone with information on Courtney's whereabouts is asked to call the Reno Police Department Missing Persons Unit at 775-321-8372. Again, that'll be in the description box. And again, if you know something, say something. Don't be a coward. If you made a mistake, if you know that she had an accident, if you just came across her while she was still alive and can give the police that information, the family deserves to know. Imagine if this was your sister or your daughter, okay? And the fact that the dog hasn't been found, that makes me very, very nervous. Even more so. All of the cases that I'm putting in this video are really sad, but when it's a small child, it tugs at my heartstrings even more. You know, being a mom, you guys know how it is, even being an aunt or an uncle, you know, it's just kids in general. I don't know. Michael Dunahee. On March 24th, 1991, 4-year-old Michael Dunahee disappeared from the playground of Blanchard Elementary School at 12:30 p.m. It was a very windy Sunday in Victoria, British Columbia, but the Dunahee family wanted to go to a flag football game at the local elementary school. The family of 4 piled into the car and headed off. It was Crystal Dunahee and her husband Bruce, 4-year-old Michael, and his 6-month-old little sister Caitlin. Crystal was participating in the football game, and the family was excited to be able to be together and watch her play the sport. Once they arrived at the elementary school, Michael had asked his mother if he could go and play on some playground equipment that was very nearby. Crystal said okay, as she could clearly see the entire playground area from where her husband would be sitting on the bleachers. So she knew that her husband Bruce would be able to watch her play and see little Michael at the same exact time, or at least that's what she thought. Later on, Crystal would remember her exact response to her son. She said she told him, quote, "Okay, you can go to the park. Wait there and don't leave with anybody. Just wait there and daddy will come and get you," end of quote. As Crystal put on her cleats in preparation for her game, and Bruce Dunahee checked the score of the previous game, mere steps away from his seat on the bleachers, and little Michael, well, he walked over to the playground and seemingly within a mere minute or two, or possibly even less, disappeared without a trace. By 1 p.m., police and countless volunteers were combing the area for Michael. Despite over 11,000 tips and one of the largest search efforts in Canadian history, no trace of little Michael was ever found to this day. This is really all the information we know. Even after all of these years, there isn't even a hint as to where Michael went and what happened to him. Most missing persons cases have at least some theories, but this one's so strange. There's no theories. Michael disappeared, according to his parents and several nearby witnesses, in less than 2 minutes' time, about as long as it took for his mom to put on her cleats and his dad to simply turn his head to look at a scoreboard. It's been said that Michael's parents were never considered suspects and their inner circle had been cleared very quickly. The most prominent theory is that this was simply a crime of opportunity and that Michael was most likely abducted. The authorities interviewed all known sex offenders in the area and several witnesses, but very little information was uncovered. Several of the witnesses interviewed did report seeing, quote, "a man in his late 40s or 50s had been near the playground," end of quote, and that, quote, "a brown van had also been spotted nearby," end of quote. Unfortunately, even though the police staged an elaborate recreation at Blanchard Elementary School a month after Michael was abducted, no new leads were ever generated. In January of 2009, the case garnered some new attention and perhaps a new ray of hope was given to Michael's family when a man from Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the United States named Vernon Seitz confessed to his psychiatrist and claimed he had murdered 2 children in 1958. He died of natural causes shortly after, and it's unknown if Vernon knew he was going to die and meant this to be a deathbed confession. Either way, the psychiatrist contacted local police and they took it very seriously. When they searched his home, they found many disturbing items, including child pornography, books on cannibalism, and files on unsolved missing children's cases in the United States. They even found one of Michael Dunahey's missing persons flyers. Unfortunately, however, despite all of this strange evidence being found in Vernon Sykes' home, though, and after a very thorough investigation, Victoria police could find no connection between Vernon and little Michael's disappearance. Not only did Michael's disappearance absolutely devastate his family, it completely changed the entire community of Victoria, BC forever. People who were there back in 1991 still remember the case and ongoing investigation. It's like the picture of the toddler is forever burned and emblazoned into their minds and hearts. Just like the family, too, the community is terrorized by thoughts and theories as to what could have possibly happened to such a small child in such a short period of time. They were completely stripped of their safe thoughts, and the days of going to bed without locking their doors and windows were forever gone. The entire country was gripped with fear and keeping a closer eye on their children. Michael's little sister, Caitlin, who was only 6 months old at the time of his disappearance, says she still misses her older brother somehow, even though she has no memories at all of him. She stated, quote, "My mom says he was really good with me. I just have to hold on to that," end of quote. His family never recovered from the shock and horror of their little boy going missing in the blink of an eye, and as one could only imagine, replay that day over and over again in their heads, wishing with everything they have that they could just go back and change that less than 2-minute time frame. Michael's mother, Crystal, still blames herself for her son's disappearance. She told the media, quote, "Giving my permission to let him go play in the park by himself, I should have made him wait. That's the hardest part to deal with," end quote. The pain, loss, and guilt that the Dunahey family continues to grapple with are unimaginable. On top of losing their son, the family has had to deal with their fair share of pain coming from cruel and evil people as well. From people trying to extort $10,000 from them and promising Michael's safe return if they paid it, to horrible pranksters left the family voice message stating that Michael had been killed by a satanic cult. Additionally, the Dunaheys have often gotten their hopes up that Michael has been found. Numerous men from various parts of British Columbia, such as Port McNeill, Surrey, and Chase, have been thought to be Michael until DNA tests prove otherwise. Heartbreakingly, Michael remains lost forever, without even a single hint of a clue as to where he may have gone, who with, or what has happened to him. There is a $100,000 reward for information leading to Michael's whereabouts. Anyone with information about Michael's disappearance can contact the Victoria Police Department dedicated tip line at 250-995-7444, or to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. At the time of his disappearance, Michael was wearing a blue hooded jacket with red lining and red cuffs, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt, multicolored rugby pants, and blue sneakers. Michael has blonde hair and blue eyes. I have discussed some missing persons cases on this channel as I started off with true crime, and it's not that I'm getting back fully into true crime, but it's always going to be in my heart. True crime is something that I grew up with. It's something that's always been an interest to me. It's something that I feel very, very passionately about. So I think every once in a while I'm just going to do cases like this, but also writing for missing persons and mysteries. And in these cases, we've covered some who have turned back up alive, some people who have been found deceased, and still others who have never been found at all. And as they say, the devil's in the details. It's the smallest details sometimes that can either make or break a case, or that can leave us scratching our heads and being even more confused than when we first started out over the original disappearance. The disappearance of Tara Calico is one of those cases where you kind of feel like you're right on the brink of having answers, like it's something like right on the tip of your tongue or on the tip of your brain, only to find the next bit of information bringing you right back around to the beginning all over again, right back at square one. This sad and frightening case is one of thousands where the person was abducted and never seen or heard from again. However, it's the little clues along the way that kind of make this case stand out. Tara Calico was from Belen, New Mexico, and I could be pronouncing that wrong. I apologize. And this is where her home was when she left in the morning of September 20th, 1988. Tara was 19 years old and had her whole life ahead of her. She had no idea when she went out for her usual bike ride at 9:30 that morning that it would turn out to be the last time she would ever see her home again. Her mother usually rode with her up until very recently when she felt like the two were being stalked by a passing motorist, and she was too scared to continue on the morning rides with her daughter. This would be a strange and sad coincidence and foreboding that neither mother nor daughter had any idea would be so relevant and possibly close to the truth until it was too late. Her mother and Tara and her mother went out almost every morning for a bike ride. And very, very recently, before this happened, her mom was like, listen, I feel like we've been being stalked a couple of times. I can't go on the rides with you anymore. As far as they were concerned, this day was no different than all the rest. A perfectly ordinary Tuesday morning, or so it seemed. Tara's mother suggested that she carry along Mace with her on her morning bike rides, but Tara refused it. This was after the alleged stalker incident, and she insisted her mother was just being paranoid. Tara had a date to play tennis with her boyfriend at 12:30 that day and asked her mother to come and pick her up if she wasn't home by noon. When 11:30 hit and still no sign of Tara, Patty, her mother, set out to go and pick her up as planned. She drove the usual route, but this time Tara was still nowhere to be found. This was long before the days of cell phones, so Patty wasn't able to just call her daughter and ask where she was or why she wasn't where she was supposed to be or etc. This was immediately concerning for Patty, and she contacted the authorities pretty much right away and reported her daughter as missing. As they investigated further and searched along the route Tara was known to have been riding that day, they found pieces of her Sony Walkman and cassette tape. So back in the day, for all you youngins out there, I'm sure you probably know this, but some of you might not. We used to have to wear these things over our head, and there was a wire that attached to this big thing that played a cassette tape. If you don't know what a cassette tape is, please Google it. Though there was no way of knowing for sure that these items belonged to Tara, the family were pretty convinced as they knew what her belongings looked like. Tara was a creature of habit and brought along the same Walkman cassette player and tape with her almost every single day when she went on these bike rides. Tara's family believed that she might have purposely dropped these items to not only mark her trail, but to alert whoever came looking for her that she was in some kind of danger. After all, there would be no other reason for her to just have left her stuff broken and lying on the side of the road. Even if she dropped it and it broke, right, she would have picked up the pieces. During the investigation, several people came forward and said that they saw Tara riding her bicycle along the route where her items were found. Her bicycle to this day has never been located either. No one witnessed her presumed abduction,
I
however,
remember
and
this
there
story.
weren't many
A couple of
clues
these I like
other
to
than the
see her,
people
see
who
if she
claimed to
can
have
do a
seen her in
follow-up
the
stuff.
broken
How
Walkman
that's been
scattered
all
around
these
the
years.
area where she was last seen by several passerby. There were several witnesses who said they saw a light-colored 1953 or 54 Ford pickup truck with a camper shell following Tara, but the authorities were never able to locate the owner of the vehicle. It's unknown, though, whether or not this was connected to Tara's disappearance, but in my opinion, like, why would this person, when they're looking for this truck, not come forward and be like, oh, that was me. I saw her riding her bike, and I just passed her along the road. Tara's case went cold fairly quickly, and her family and loved ones were left with no answers. They had the perpetual fear that Tara would be found deceased somewhere, but also they had the perpetual hope that she would once again come walking through the front door someday. In June of 1989, it seemed that new life was breathed back into the case when terrifying new evidence was possibly found in the parking lot of a convenience store in Port St. Joe, Florida. A photograph was lying on the ground between two vehicles. The woman who found the photo said it was found in a parking space of where a white windowless Toyota cargo van driven by a man with a mustache believed to be in his 30s was parking when she arrived at the store. However, despite police setting up roadblocks in an attempt to intercept the vehicle, the man was never caught nor brought to interrogation. The picture in question was a Polaroid which showed a little boy and a young woman, both bound and gagged and with terrified looks on their faces. Because of the duct tape and gags in their mouths, it was hard to tell who the image was of. Well, I can't put images here. Go on over to Missing Persons and Mysteries. Check out Tara Calico. They did put the images in there for you guys. It was theorized by investigators, however, that the young woman in the photo was Tara Calico and that the boy was Michael Henley, also of New Mexico, who had disappeared in April of 1988, and I will be covering that in the next video. According to investigators, the picture had to have been taken after May of 1989 because the particular film used in the photograph was not available until then. The identification of the boy in the photograph as Michael Henley seems unlikely because his remains were found discovered in 1990 in the Zuni Mountains, about 7 miles from his family's campsite where he had disappeared and 75 miles from where Tara Calico disappeared. There was much back and forth and conjecture about this, but in the end, the standing ruling is that it was not him in the picture. Police believed he simply wandered off and sadly died of exposure to the elements. Tara's mother, Patty, believed that the girl in the picture was in fact her daughter. This positive identification was mainly made due to a scar the woman in the photo had on her leg, which, according to Patty, was identical to one Tara had in the exact same spot on the exact same leg. Tara had received this particular scar due to an injury she suffered from a car accident when she was younger. In addition, a paperback copy of V.C. Andrews' My Sweet Audrina, said to be one of Tara Calico's favorite books, can be seen lying next to the young woman. Scotland Yard analyzed the photo and concluded that the woman was Tara, but a second analysis by the Los Alamos National Laboratory disagreed. An FBI analysis of the photo was inconclusive. So you have one Scotland Yard saying, yes, that's definitely her. Los Alamos National Laboratory saying, no way. And the FBI being like, we have no idea. It's up in the air. This is where the case seems to take an even more bizarre turn. 20 years after the discovery of the photograph, which was, of course, widely shared by the media at the time, pictures of a little boy were sent to the Port St. Joe police chief, David Barnes. He received 2 letters postmarked June 10th and August 10th, 2009 from Albuquerque, New Mexico. One letter contained a photo printed on copy paper of a young boy with sandy brown hair. Someone had drawn a black band in ink on the photo over the boy's mouth as if it were covered in tape, as in the 1989 picture. It seemed whoever sent the photos was alluding to the fact that the boy in the original photograph found all those years ago was Michael Henley after all. This has never been officially confirmed, nor has it ever been officially disproven. The second letter contained an original image of the boy. On August 12th, the Star newspaper in Port St. Joe received a third letter, also postmarked in Albuquerque on August 10th, and depicting the same image of a boy with black marker drawn over his mouth. None of the letters contained a return address or a note indicating the child's identity, making the officials there believe it may have had something to do with the disappearance of Tara Calico. I'm sure there was no DNA on the envelope or anything like that either, because there would probably be something by now. Nobody gave up on her, so I'm sure that they were still investigating this. The letters were sent in and around the same time that a self-proclaimed psychic called the detective about Tara, saying she had met a runaway in California with whom she had worked at a strip club who eventually wound up murdered. Try to stay with me. The caller said she had dreams suggesting the runaway may have been Tara Calico and that she may be buried somewhere in California. Though it was a long shot and there was no real location given publicly as to where this alleged psychic said the girl could possibly be buried, the police must have had some additional information, as they did conduct searches and reported that these searches had led to nothing and no bodies at all had been found. So I don't think they went just by the psychic. They had to have had something else that led them to California. They were searching like a specific area, and the psychic didn't give a specific area. She just said California. So they had to have had more info. But Tara running away and being a stripper, it just, I don't know. Why would she do that? She had a great life. I mean, not that strippers can have great lives. I'm going to stop talking now. So no bodies had been found during this random search, not of Tara Calico or anyone else. Additionally, these photos were given to the FBI for further investigation in hope of finding fingerprints or possible DNA evidence. 20 years after she had disappeared that fateful day in September of 1988, Sheriff of Valencia County, California at the time, named Rene Rivera, reported that he had received what he believed to be credible information that finally explained what happened to Tara Calico. This information alleged that some boys who knew Tara drove up behind her in a truck and some form of car accident followed. Like maybe they bumped her or they accidentally hit her or they purposely bumped her, whatever. Tara later died and those responsible covered up the crime. Rivera states he knows the names of those involved, but that without a body, he couldn't make a case. And this was in 1998, 20 years after. Yeah, so 2008, actually. You can't prosecute a no-body crime when you have additional evidence. I mean, he should have had additional evidence to make this statement publicly, right? This doesn't make any sense. To me personally, what I feel in my gut, like what my knowing tells me, is that he was just trying to get this case closed or at least put some kind of label conclusion on this case, because the family and the public were probably still in outcry 20 years later of what the heck happened to Tara. But that's just my opinion. Tara's stepfather, John Dole, in response to what Rivera stated about, the no body case and all that, has disputed those claims. He said that the sheriff should not have made these comments if he was not willing to arrest anyone, and that strong circumstantial evidence should be enough for a conviction, even if there is no body. 2 other Polaroid photographs, possibly of Tara, have surfaced over the years. The first was found near a construction site in Montecito, California, and is a blurry photo of a girl's face with tape covering her mouth and light blue striped fabric behind her. Quote, similar to that on the pillow in the Toyota van photo, end of quote. It was taken on film that was not available until June 1989. The second shows, quote, a woman loosely bound in gauze, her eyes covered with more gauze and large black framed glasses, end quote, with a male passenger beside her on an Amtrak train. The film used was not available until February of 1990. Tara's mother believed the first one was Tara, but thought that the second may have been some kind of sick joke. Her sister stated, quote, "They had a striking, uncalming resemblance. As for me, I will not rule them out. But keep in mind, our family has had to identify many other photographs, and all but those three were ruled out," end of quote. In October of 2013, a 6-person task force was established to reinvestigate Tara's disappearance. As of 2017, no arrests have been made, and the case remains open. On October 1st, 2019, the FBI announced that they are offering a reward of up to $20,000 for precise details leading to the identification or location of Tara Lee Calico and information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for her disappearance. And I'm sorry, that was a quote. In September 2021, the Valencia County Sheriff's Office and the New Mexico State Police issued a statement that they have a new lead in the case and that the focus of a sealed warrant for an unknown private residence located within Valencia County has been issued. However, no further details were provided. There have been no additional updates since this time. So that's about October, November, December, January, 4 to 5 months from that was 4 or 5 months ago, but who knows? They could have found something and like they just are processing the evidence or, interviewing suspects or witnesses. We don't know. So hopefully something comes out of that sealed warrant. What happened to Tara Calico? Is it possible some boys she knew, possibly from her neighborhood or school, decided to try and scare her, but took it too far and accidentally ran her over and killed her? Like, did they go up to bump her, like, I got you, to make her fall off into a ditch or something? But they accidentally went too fast and hit her. If this happened, did it lead them to have to cover it up and get rid of her body and bicycle, as Sheriff Rivera believes and publicly stated? If this is the case, then why wasn't the witness or witnesses who allegedly came forward to him with this information called in to testify? As Tara's stepfather stated, the circumstantial evidence should have been enough for a conviction despite having no body. Is it possible that her mother was right and perhaps someone had been stalking the two of them and saw Tara alone and decided to take the opportunity to abduct her right there on the side of the road while she was riding alone? Were any of the photographs handed in actually Tara? What was the new lead in the case back in 2019, and why had nothing ever come of this alleged search warrant on the private residence? That's what I'm talking about. They could still be analyzing all of that. These are questions we hope one day will be answered, if for nothing else, then that Tara's family could at least begin to heal. Maybe one day justice will be served and the facts of what happened to Tara Calico all those years ago when she was simply going for a bike ride and listening to some of her favorite music in her Walkman will come to light and someone will be finally held accountable. As always, I'll bring you any updates that come to light as soon as I receive them, probably via Missing Persons and Mysteries, okay? Personally, what I believe is that she was abducted. I don't know if she threw her Walkman on purpose. I don't know, like in a frantic panic, if just a regular person back before true crime kind of blew up and before the internet and all that stuff would think that quickly. But I know Tara personally. I don't think that I would have back, then if I didn't know all I knew now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think she just dropped it and she was abducted and someone either knocked her out and pulled her into the car and threw her bike in the back and took off. I feel like this 1953 or 1954 Ford pickup definitely has something to do with it. A pickup truck bicycle fit right in the back of it. Nobody would ask any questions if a pickup truck had a bike in it, right in the back. Big deal. The fact that this person never came forward is what makes me think they may have had something to do with it. There seems to be no discrimination at all when it comes to who will disappear and when. While all cases are heartbreaking and have a devastating effect on not just the family of the victims, but also on communities as a whole, there seems to be an extra degree of confusion when it comes to people who seemingly vanish into thin air and are never seen again, like I just stated. With them, there is no closure for the family. There's no sense of peace or justice at all. And as with the case we're about to discuss now, like with the cases of most teenagers who disappear, the rumor and speculation seem to lend a certain amount of grief and pain to the person's loved ones. The rumor mill, all of the horrible speculation, teenagers talking can make the case, so much worse. 16-year-old Michaela Bali was just an average teenager from Yorkton, Saskatchewan, Canada, when she seemingly disappeared into thin air on April 12, 2016. Michaela was born on July 2nd, 1999. Her mother is Paula Bali, and the two lived together with Michaela's aunt, grandmother, and two younger siblings. Michaela is described as being, quote, quiet and shy, end of quote, by her family and, quote, caring by her peers. She played the violin and was a member of her high school's drama club. She was in the 11th grade on that fateful day in April of 2016. Here are the reported events of that day and everything known to have happened leading up to Michaela's disappearance based on witness statements and thousands of hours of surveillance footage from numerous different sources that police were able to view and put together for an accurate timeline event of that last day that Michaela was seen. According to Michaela's friends, in the days leading up to her disappearance, she constantly spoke of different places she wanted to visit and travel to. It was more than just like, yeah, someday I want to go to, the United States. That would be cool. She was talking over and over again about specific places that she was going to go to. Okay. It wasn't just like, the usual teenage chatter of where they want to go when they're old enough to travel alone. This was more than that. Though it was later determined not to be the case, she was telling her friend she had saved $5,000 in her bank account for the above-mentioned trips. The day before she went missing on April 11th, Michaela sent a text message to a friend asking for a ride to the local TD bank the next morning. She spoke to the bank herself that day several times and ended up wiring $25 into her account. Later that night, she messaged several friends saying she was unhappy about a problem with a boy. These friends would later state that she seemed distressed and asked for help. She never spoke of a specific problem, however, and though Michaela seemed to have many friends inside of her school, none of them really knew what she did when she wasn't there, like when she was at home. They knew she went online a lot and was bullied for her acne by some of the other kids she went to school with. Despite all of this, though, her mother stated that right before she disappeared, it seemed to her that Michaela was, quote, hitting her stride, end of quote. Despite knowing she had many friends in the online community using several social media platforms, nobody knew exactly who she talked to on a regular basis or any specific knowledge, including her closest friends from school. It's uncertain whether Michaela was specifically trying to hide these things from people or if it just happened that way that nobody really knew any of the details. According to her mother, April 12th, 2016 was just another normal day for the two of them. They both got up and got ready to start their day. Michaela was dropped off at the Sacred Heart High School at 8 o'clock in the morning on time by her grandmother, and she logged into the school's Wi-Fi 8 minutes later. She went to her locker and unloaded some items from her backpack into it and was seen on the school surveillance footage leaving the premises at 8:26 a.m. So she was there for 26 minutes approximately. When Michaela didn't show up for her first class that morning, her ex-boyfriend sent her a text message asking where she was and why she wasn't there. Michaela responded by telling him that she was on the other side of town. It seems as though upon leaving the school, she walked to the nearest TD bank as her friend was unable to give her the ride she had asked for the night before. Michaela was seen on the bank's surveillance footage waiting for it to open as she had arrived before it had done so. Once inside the bank, she withdrew $55 from her account and then headed to a local pawn shop to try and sell a silver ring. The owner of this pawn shop later recounted that he didn't buy the ring and told Michaela it had too little value and wasn't worth it for him. He said, quote, she was quiet and didn't seem in distress, end of quote. She then headed south from the pawn shop and at 9:09 a.m. she entered a Tim Hortons restaurant and sat for a while alone and on her phone. Most people involved believe she was in the restaurant simply to use their Wi-Fi. Michaela sat in the Tim Hortons for 13 minutes, all the while continuously glancing at the door which was behind her. She left the restaurant and surveillance captured her walking around the various stores, walking through parking lots, and at one point she had her phone to her ear and she was talking on it. Phone records indicated she was using a third-party app like FaceTime call feature because there was no cell phone records matching a call at that time. So that really sucked because they can't figure out who she was talking to because she was using a third-party app. And this is when I start to wonder, like, was she purposely doing this? That's where grooming starts to come in and all that, but I'll discuss my theories and opinions at the end. It just it frustrates me because if they could have only figured out who she was talking to. Michaela only had a certain number of minutes on her phone and would rely heavily on Wi-Fi and third-party apps such as Facebook or WhatsApp to make calls so as not to use up all of the minutes. At 9:55 a.m., Michaela went back into the same Tim Hortons as before and sent a message to a friend. It said, quote, hey, I need help, end quote. 20 minutes later, however, she messaged that same friend and said, quote, never mind, I figured it out, end quote. Michaela then approached a random stranger in this restaurant and asked her to help book a hotel room. Michaela was too young to do this on her own and needed someone 18 or older to do it for her. This bit of information is where Michaela constantly telling friends in the weeks and months leading up to her disappearance that she wanted to visit larger cities near and around the small community where she lived came into everyone's mind. But if she's asking this person to book a hotel room, it had to have been somewhere near, right? Like she wasn't saying like, can you book me a hotel room in the United States somewhere? So she had to have been planning on staying somewhere nearby, which God, she had to have been meeting somebody. It's so hard for me not to speculate, but I'm trying to just give the facts and then my opinion. Sorry. In fact, Michaela spoke so much about leaving her small town and running off to a big city that her friends barely even paid attention to it anymore. It was like, oh yeah, that's just Michaela. She says that all the time. They all figured she was just daydreaming about where she would like to go when she was older and able to go on her own. Michaela made a ton of friends online and used several social media platforms, as I said before. In the days leading up to her disappearance, she did mention to friends that one of her online boyfriends, as in male friends, was coming to meet her. So a male friend that she had met online was coming to meet her. Again, they were used to this and didn't give it much attention, except to remember Michaela had said that the guy's name was Christopher. The woman Michaela approached in the Tim Hortons about helping her rent the hotel room declined to do so. I mean, good idea. You don't want to rent a hotel room for an underager. Michaela entered her school again briefly a little before noon. At 12:03 p.m., she was seen leaving again on the surveillance footage. There is no other footage of Michaela after she is seen leaving the high school for the second time. It is therefore assumed someone picked her up. After all, there had been so much footage as to trace her every movement down to the minute when she left the first time. This was the only logical conclusion that could be drawn from the lack of any surveillance footage at all, and this small community was covered in cameras. Unfortunately, either it was a sick twist of fate or purposefully planned by Michaela that if someone had picked her up in a vehicle, it was not captured on any surveillance cameras either. In my opinion, this had to have been on purpose. Somebody, and I don't think it was Michaela, but somebody knew exactly what they were doing. And I think it was somebody local. How else would they know where the surveillance footage was? And in fact, it could have been someone older, like from the area, like from the school, because if she left the school and there was no footage, that means she had to have been picked up kind of right away. And who else would know what someone went and scoped out the school to see where the cameras were? That would make sense if she just walked out and wasn't seen again. But she was seen again going to the Tim Hortons, walking around the stores on the phone. It had to have been someone familiar with the area. When Michaela's grandmother arrived as usual to pick her up from school and take her to a violin lesson, and Michaela never came out, her mother was notified. Paula Bali immediately checked her, quote, slush fund, which was a bunch of money she had stashed in a certain spot in the family home in case of emergencies. The money was still all accounted for, however, and Michaela hadn't touched any of it. Aside from the small backpack she carried her books to school in that day, it seemed as though she hadn't taken any of her belongings with her at all either. Paula, of course, contacted the authorities, and the investigation into what happened to Michaela Bali was launched. As of 7 o'clock the next morning, April 13th, 2016, Michaela's phone had either died or was shut off because it wouldn't ring and would only go straight to voicemail. In the months after her disappearance, police were able to track down most of the people she had been communicating with online. All of them were cleared by either having an alibi or not being in the area at the time she went missing. Process of elimination left a lot to be desired, as there was no one left to focus the investigation on, and the authorities could never figure out who, quote, Christopher was, who Michaela had told friends was coming to visit her right before she seemingly vanished off the face of the earth, or if he even existed at all. She, sometimes exaggerated her boyfriend stories and stuff. Who doesn't do that in high school? The internet wasn't big when I was in high school, but I'm sure I would have made up some friends. That's just that I was bullied and I probably would have made friends up. I'm just saying. So I don't blame the girl. Michaela's mother is hopeful her daughter is alive and will eventually be found, of course. She believes Michaela never meant to leave for any extended period of time, and unfortunately, she may have fallen victim to some sort of human trafficking operation. At the time of her disappearance, Michaela Bali was 16 years old and stood at around 5 foot 1 inch tall and weighed about 123 pounds. This was almost 6 years ago, so these measurements certainly could have changed since then. Her natural hair color is red, but at the time of her disappearance, she was blonde, and she changed her hair color quite a bit. She has blue eyes and is described as having a light or fair complexion. She has some distinguishing features like acne and acne scars, as well as a slight birthmark the size of a dime on her chin. She has a few scars between her eyes from the chickenpox, protruding front teeth, and a whole row of scars on one of her thighs, unfortunately due to self-harm. Sometimes she wears glasses. If you have any information about Michaela Bali, please contact the RCMP. The family is offering a $25,000 reward for her safe return. Guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that maybe we can share this video, spread the word, put the information out there. All of these cases are separately done on Missing Persons and Mysteries. I wrote the scripts for them. I asked Bill if it would be okay if I did a video with them so that we can further spread the word. And he said, of course. So if you find the connection from here to Missing Person Mysteries, I know you're going to accuse me in the comments of stealing it from them. They're going to accuse them in the comments of stealing it from me. Get a life is all I can say. Who cares? The important thing is to get the information out there. I appreciate all of you guys so much. I love you all so very much. Moon Bear Oracle will be up and running soon. I am almost finished with all of the monthlies. So what I'm doing over there is once a month readings for each astrological sign. So
Okay, there we go. Let me make me small. I don't like being on. Oops. There we go. See here's my backdrop for folks that missed it. There you go. That's my backdrop. I like that one. That's a keeper. That is a true Ghostdragonzw. Oops, there we go. Yeah, I got on Supp from things to YouTube, and I never sub back, but they always show up in my feed, so I stay pretty active with them. Yeah, I like the Hodge twins too. I don't want to get too political on here because Gemma doesn't like to get too political. It screws with the algorithm big time too. Oh, that one? This one here? Yeah, I find mine, and I do the ones for her oracles too. She gets a kick out of them because I make it a. She likes them too because I always pick them out. The backdrops back, but her backdrops in her background are always really cool. She's got a bunch of them. I'm trying to think of a way to fix her like a pipe thing so she can hang them up and change them. Like a curtain rod so she can change them. She has a bunch of them. I think 3 or 4, maybe even 5. But they're take them up, take them down, take them up, take them down. So I was thinking about hooking them up, making her something, send it to her, and she could just put it together and hang them up, and then she could flip through whatever background she wants. But she's got some really nice actual backdrops for her video uploads and stuff and for streams. And then I do the ones for the actual backdrop. I find them and look for them. But I found that the other day, and I was like, that's a great Ghostdragonzw. I'm learning how to put print on them now, too. I've been playing with the graphics, which took me a while to simply sit down and start messing with stuff. If you notice, I put one on Wednesday night. Put words on it. Let's sit down. Let's chat. Welcome. Let's chat. Whatever I put on. So I'm learning. Been playing with it for like a couple hours every night just to get the idea of it all now. But yeah, her backdrops. I like her backdrops that she has hanging in the back. It's a shame she got one that has like a fireplace. It's kind of Halloweenish. And then she had one like a bookshelf. But it's really small. It wasn't as big as she thought it would be. You see it in some of the older videos. At her mom, when she was at her mom's. But yeah, her backdrop for that one. Which one was that one? I didn't look. Was that the Fae one? She also has one where they're dancing around, the women are dancing around the fire. I'm trying to think which one that was. And then I sent her one that's a big full moon that she hasn't put up yet. And then her alien one that every time she sits, it looks like that UFO's a sombrero. So she had to move it around so it would look like she was wearing it. So where'd you guys all come from? I know a lot of streams are just now ending. So that's why I try to hang out a little bit after the uploads. I'm only going to do one tonight since that was so long. I think that was like 53 minutes or so. Well, you got to take off a couple minutes because she talks at the beginning and talks at the end. Oh, the one on her backdrop in that video? I'll have to go look now. Is that which one you're talking about? I love castles. I could live in a castle easily. Actually, I could just live in the forest. I'm pretty self-sufficient, so I could do it. 1 second. Which one was that? Oh, what am I doing? I could just do this. Isn't that good? Oh, the fairy trees with the fairy lights in the background. Yeah, I like that backdrop too. She has another one, the one she's using. There's another one. I thought she had one that had, like, you could actually see. Yeah, that's the one she has up now. My YouTube just told me you were, oh, really? That's all right. I hit notifications for my own streams, and it's funny because I never get them. So when people say they don't get their notifications, believe them, because they don't always give them out. They don't always go out. Al needs to get back to work, get her editing done, go visit with her guest. I'm glad you popped in, Bounty Hunter. Now, where are you from? What part of the country, what part of the world are you from? Are you here in America, somewhere else? But we get a lot of, Gemma has a lot of people overseas, over in England and over in along the Isles. I call them the Isles. Got one from Hawaii, a couple from Hawaii, actually. A bunch of from Canada. I pick on Canada cities. I don't pick on Canada itself because the country there is beautiful. As long as they don't burn it all down like they're trying to do to California. But California is going to fall off into the ocean soon anyway, so it's just going to be a couple islands left. From Colorado, but live in Vegas. Oh, really? Man, my ex, her grandmother and grandfather lived in Estes Park. So that's where we went for our honeymoon. And I stayed at the S.D.N.Y Hotel. I loved Colorado. Couldn't really care for much. I didn't care much for Boulder or Denver. But Estes Park, man. But I'm sure it's all grown up now because it's big, because of the S.D.N.Y Hotel. And it's grown quite a bit. Yeah, they ruined it, didn't they? It is kind of sad because that was where I wanted to. I was offered a job there. In fact, when we were on our honeymoon, working for some people. I was a manager at the restaurant at the time. You got management experience, but she wanted to go back home. I could have just stayed right there. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't stick around. Boulder looked. From the last time I went out, I wasn't impressed. Boulder was looking like it was going down the hill then. I've never been to Vegas. I've been wanting to. Been to Atlantic City a few times. But never to Vegas. Moved to Vegas to take care of mother-in-law. She passed a few years ago. Now we are trying to get out of here. That'll put me. Well, I'd say stay. But then you're going to go back to Colorado, or you just find the way out of Vegas? Are you going to stay in there, Nevada? Or a lot of people seem to like Arizona. Yeah. Texas, unfortunately, everybody from California is moving to Texas. Texas is kind of having its issues right now. I'm in Ohio. I love Ohio. Everybody picks on Ohio, and everybody makes jokes about us being as bad as Florida, man. Weird things happen here, and crazy things happen here, but that seems to be the whole Ohio Valley. Sin City should burn. Yeah, that I heard. Vegas is really bad now. That when you go, you gotta be like have your eyes on constant motion. But that's only from what I've heard. For somebody who hasn't been there, I really can't say anything other than what I've heard, what I've seen, and that's still not much. I'd rather be there to make an honest opinion. But I kind of agree with you, Nightmare. Places. got issues. I would love to go back to the Rockies. I don't know. My home is San Luis Valley, Colorado. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, if I go back to Colorado, I'd go north of Boulder, go up at Estes Park or beyond there, and back in there somewhere. Kind of stay as far away as possible. But I love the mountains, man. The Rockies were so beautiful. I was so happy, especially around Bear Lake up there. Man, it was like a heaven for me. My ex was like, "You sure you?" I kept saying to her, "Are you sure you want to go? We can stay here. We raise kids here. This is a small area." But I have to admit, I'd never driven on those mountains before. And coming home from the honeymoon, it snowed the night before. It was like 50s and 60s the whole time we were there because we were married mid-February. And it snowed the night before we left, about 3 inches. And I started driving down those mountains, and I'm like, she goes, "I'll drive." And I was like fearful all the way down because I was literally looking over the edge. Sometimes it was like that. She knows those mountains, so I let her take over. When I was scared, it just made me nervous with all that snow on the ground. I wasn't used to that. Some of those are pretty steep. It's like, holy crap, you go for it. Been here 20 years. Vegas went down here after Raiders came. And the concert. Oh, yeah. Lots made it go into toilet. Yeah, I believe that. No, I agree. I never liked Vegas. It's even worse now. I can only imagine, especially after the crap that's gone on there. I love my area. Too bad the rich people are killing the area. Really. And that happens too. It's happening here. I live in a very small, these were all World War II homes. And my dad bought this place in 53. And it's a nice, quiet neighborhood, even with the cemeteries, a lot of trees. And then I'd say 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, people bought a house down the street that was, the family lived there forever. And I grew up with the kids and stuff. And the one sister finally just let the house go to crap. So they bought the house, tore the house down, put this big, huge house up. And everybody's value taxes went up. The same thing with around the corner. The original farmhouse that operated, this used to be called the Davis Farms. I like to pick on the neighbors saying that, yeah, we're part of the Davises. You're standing on our land. They always get creeped out by it. But anyways, they tore that house down and put this big, huge place up and then built a big, huge garage with office and workshop. And my dad goes, "There goes my taxes." They're killing off all the good areas. Oh, yeah, they really are. And then you got Gates buying up land everywhere. China trying to buy up land everywhere. Buying farms at that. But yeah, they destroyed. I mean, I still like Ohio. Cleveland was always kind of rough. Cincinnati, I'm just ashamed of Cincinnati now. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sure Chris is going to pop in here and yell at me. Because I liked Cincinnati. I liked living down there in Klein, just right outside of Cincinnati. But man, in Cleveland, actually, Cincinnati is kind of worse than Cleveland, which is incredible. But all the main cities are just Columbus. They say we're a cow town. It's a small town. You come in and blink and it's almost like you blink and you're through it. but it's hopping. But it's not as bad as everybody makes it off to be. But I can imagine Vegas. I mean, I had a buddy go out. It was about a year ago, and he wouldn't even talk about it. But then again, I also knew he lost money, so. But I never been to Vegas. Now to watch Atlantic City go, it's trying to come back. Now I went to. It's a shame because when I went to visit Gemma a couple times, was it 4 times, 5 times? I went up 3 times to help her get some stuff done. Then one time for the paranormal unity, her mom lived in Tom's River. And it was pretty funny because the whole time I was there, I never, other than once getting lost on the highway coming back from one of her doctor's appointments, I didn't get to see the ocean. And it was literally just a few miles from her mom's. But you could smell that ocean air, that's for sure. But those taxes, did you see they are taxing the farmers? I know. It's insane. There goes more farmers. Yep. You're going to be having another farm aid soon, probably. And the way China and Bill Gates and a couple of these guys, Bezos getting in on buying these farms up. What the F ever happened to the train from California to Vegas? We were looking for that because it actually starts up, I think, in Wisconsin. I think either Minnesota or Wisconsin. You can take a train to Vegas, then you can take it to California. But I know you can still take it to Vegas, but I don't know how much farther it goes. I know one goes to Texas. I have a buddy that's big time train guy. That was all a money sheet show. Oh, the one that they were going to build. Oh, yeah. Or that monorail they were going to build. That was a joke and a half scam. Because that's what it was. They already built it underground. I can feel it all, the rumbles. You would be surprised what they're doing underground. But some of that rumbling you're feeling, it's not them. The earth is changing. There is some inner core and plate shifting. They literally tracked that one that happened in Jersey all the way to Kansas. So something is shifting. But yeah, I've seen have you seen there are places you can take your Tulsa underground tunnels, different access points. Oh yeah. Where there's actually, have you seen the video where they have the semi guy, the guy standing in front of these tunnels, and he stops one of the semi drivers, and the driver, the first one he stopped, he says it's the first time he's been in the tunnels, and it had heard he was hauling goods, I think food, and he said he heard that you don't even see the highway, you're underground the whole time. There's no traffic. Boom, you're straight through. There's stops, like truck stops on the way. And this is all underground. Oh, the second driver that he talked to, that's the video you see where he goes, oh, yeah, it goes all the way underground. You can go from town to town, city to city. I'm like, holy crap. But, that can't be. What happens when you start digging too many mouse holes everywhere or mole holes? It starts to cave in. But, yeah, they've got tunnels everywhere. There's actually a map. I'll have to go find it. Maybe show it on Wednesday of all the tunnels that lead from cities. Yeah, there's tons of them. And they trucks and all that use them. Yeah, East Coast to West Coast. Yeah, I've seen the map. It's amazing. It's like, holy crap. Yeah, to see that stuff go on and feel it. They place about Ohio. I know they run it through here, but like when I lived on the west side, we had a well, and it turned out that I knew after talking to people and having a survey done that I paid for, ground survey. Turns out turns out like there was 3 underground rivers in that area. Now, that land had sold since we had like it was called a mini farm when I got married that my grandparents owned. It was funny because their down payment on the house was $200, but it was a big old house that sat on about 1/4 of an acre in the middle of a neighborhood, and the side yard was the biggest part of the house. And it had a pump. Man, that water was so cold. And if you by the time Grandma drank it straight out of there, but later on, you always wanted to run it through like a filter. But man, that water was so cold. So even when it come out, it would start off a little rusty, and then man, that water would get clear. Andrew, how you doing? Are you on the road, home, running the tires to the ground? But yeah, they're all over the place. Those underground tunnels are pretty amazing too. They've been doing it underneath our noses the whole time. Well, some people tried to warn. Everybody fist bumping. Yeah, and from what I understand, they're still digging. So I think a lot is going on with the Earth. Partly natural. The sun flares natural. You're going to find that it's something in the heavens that's doing all this. Because you look at the moon, even the moon looks different. We were just talking about that earlier. The moon looks so bright right now. I mean, where I'm at, some people said it was a strawberry moon or something the other night. It was clear. It was just a bright moon here. It didn't have any color. I watched it last night. I've watched it since it started, doing the phases. My window, it literally passes in front of my window every night. But it is so bright. I telescope out. Something looked different. Every time I look at it, it's like something's not right. But there's something very big out there, and it's messing with stuff. It's got the sun really active, the earth really active, the moon's even looking kind of funky. I swear last night it looked like at 1 o'clock in the morning you could reach out the window and touch it. Hey, spoochy, smoochy, spooky, smoochy. I mean, it's pretty bright. I got the curtains closed now so I wouldn't watch the moon. We never had all these different moons. Not all these lights on the moon either. Oh yeah. Well, the people have gotten. See, you didn't hear about that stuff until people started buying those really nice, and I'm talking really nice scopes where you can hook up to your computer and really pull in close. I would love to have one, but they're so expensive. But they're so cool. I have just a basic telescope, and what I can see from it, you can see. I can draw it up enough that during like a half moon or something, I could almost see these little spots of lights on the dark side. Well, we didn't really need to know that, Smoochy, so go have fun. Crazy. That's all. To each his own, I guess. I wouldn't dare do that in this neighborhood. I might freak out people. But yeah, it's pretty bright. It was really bright last night, man. That full moon last night and tonight. It was basically full last night. Just a little sliver. Get it. Oh, I have a privacy fence. There you go, Smoochie. Yeah, you don't want to scare the neighbors. I'm being spunky. I know I would. Listen, people across the street, it must be nice. The people that bought the house across the street, they have a home here. They have a home in North Carolina and a home in South Carolina. Must be nice. What are you doing here? I never saw city lights on the moon in our telescope. That was great living when I did. I did. Not a lot of light interference. Yes, that is true. Now, I used to be able to just go little ways if I want to get no light. Now I have to go even farther now. But pretty much Columbus is surrounded by small towns like Westerville, Dublin, Hilliard, Grove City, Obetz, Gahanna. And then you go past those, it's nothing but farmland. Till you hit Zanesville going west or Springfield going east. Or London, you'll hit London before you hit Springfield. And going north, it's Sunbury, but it's off the highway. And it's pretty much still a country town, even though it's grown like crazy now, too. I did post a blurry shot of the moon. Oh, really? I'll have to go check it out. Now, that's what you say, Smoochie. It's not fake. It's very weird. Do you think the Earth is flat, Smoochie? The universe is flat, not the Earth. But it is the same as above as it is below. Want to watch something interesting? Look at the Hawaiian telescope. Oh, I watched those. Yeah, there's some neat stuff that you catch on those. The back right side of the round scope building, you'll see some smaller white guard tower looking structure. Oh yeah. What? Okay. It's not flat. You just think it's flat. Moonlight words mean things. Okay. Look around 2 p.m. Can see shiny balls and figures absorbing energy from the Earth. Now I haven't seen that. I'll have to check. I'll go look at that about that time. It's made of cheese. It's Wisconsin cheese at that. Yeah, so unless you're talking Swiss cheese. Yes, of course, words mean things, and those words can mean 5 or 6 different things, depending on what language, what part of the world you're at. But yeah, the moon is an interesting thing. You know, they've hit it and it rang like a bell a couple times. Oh, it's very solid. It's hollow in the center there. I'm trying to add an IR camera 4K to adapt to his telescope. Oh, really? Do you have one of those nice scopes, Nightmare? Man, I want one. This guy, a friend of mine, I have to say, I was kind of jealous. He had a nice one of the big ones, and had it all hooked up to the computer, had his phone strapped to it. I was like, dude, this is a cool setup, man. He was getting up and personal with the moon. Yeah, when Saturn was all lined up, and he had it so close you could see the rings. It was like, holy cow, this is awesome. The 480p, oh, that's not bad. That's good. I think he was 720. I was shocked. It was clear. Once he got it focused about, I was like, holy crap. It's like you're almost standing there. Now I know why these guys stream those. Yeah, there's a couple guys I watch, especially like we have the meteor shower coming up. Is it the 12th, 13th, and the 14th? They'll be pretty good one. It should be a pretty good one. So if we have clear nights wherever you're at, watch the skies on the 13th, 14th, and the 15th. But I want better. Yeah, the way he had was a 720, and it was nice. It was like watching TV. I mean, but that thing, he had it decked out. I know he put money into it, and he's trying to make it better. It is better. He also got a filter for his phone. I mean, not his phone, but it's for his camera and the telescope for the sun. So he's hoping that he's going to check out the sun one day on a clear day. Potato footage won't work for me. Yeah, potato. I call it roadblocks footage. All pixels. That's what roadblocks to me looks like. It's just big, huge pixels. And Gemma got hooked on roadblocks. Little man got her hooked up roadblocks. I got a good giggle out of it. But yeah, this guy had a sweet setup. Mine's just the basis telescope. But it does me good because it's just perfect. It sits in front of my bed just right so I can sit on my edge of bed and watch out the window. And it's right now the moon is perfect for me as it crosses over. I'll probably be sitting there. Well, I'll probably go out back for the meteor shower so I can really scope things out. Some of it you should, I think, on the 13th, either 13th or 14th. You shouldn't need one. You should be able to just lay back, go find a nice dark place in your area, lean back and watch it. Yeah. She got hooked on some shopping game on there, so it's hilarious. But I'm glad she found something she has a good time with. And she loves her Fortnite. And she's probably one of the few people that beats me at Mortal Kombat, too. She gives me a run for my money at Mortal Kombat. Like tonight, I think I played with her for a little bit, for about 45 minutes to an hour. We played some Fortnite, playing the Blitz. I was playing before she got on because I'd eaten dinner and I was just chilling. And I was pretty much done. I was just piddling around doing stuff. Play a game, go piddle. But I had like 10 wins for the day. It's just a good way to go. Just going. It's like when I used to have my Godzilla game. I'm trying to find me a new copy. I just played Godzilla so I could destroy cities. But yeah, we're thinking about doing some streaming on Rumble with either Fortnite or maybe a couple of the games. That way we don't have to worry about language or anything. And she gets mad at these people. But I'll be here Wednesday. She'll be here Tuesday night. 10 o'clock. She told me what she was streaming, what her premiere was. It's two of them. It's two people. But now I forget their names. I knew I should have wrote them down. I'll probably get yelled at tomorrow. But 10 o'clock. 10 p.m. ET time. I used to play Minecraft with my grandson. It was yeah, it is kind of relaxing. Those games are fun and relaxing. You can get a little stressy once in a while, but stressed me out over since my last camp come. I spent 1 week in a suit on. Oh man, building a wall on a suit on a wall, building a world of with 3 others. Yeah, there's a couple guys I know that play Minecraft and Roblox. They just have a blast. Say that's when they're done playing. They all get together after they play Call of Duty and stuff, and they just go there and hang out and play, have fun. Which I can understand. I have my games that I do that with. And give back to my body. Yeah, I've been through that too. In fact, one time I was in the hospital for a while, and I made him bring my. I didn't want him to bring the PlayStation 5 because I didn't want that, so I had to bring the PlayStation 4. The nurses got a kick out of me laying in bed playing because I rock. As you can see, I'm always moving. So I would sit there in my bed and rock and play games. They would come in and play a couple rounds of Mortal Kombat with me or something. R6. I itch. I was outside a little bit this morning. I took a shower and I still itch. I'll tell you what, that sun is hot. You hit that sunlight. Now, like I said, it was hot. It really didn't get as hot as I thought it would get, but it was hot. Muggy as crap. Humidity killer, like typical Ohio. But the air quality was really rough. And every so often you'd get a taste of the smoke. Oh, Rainbow Six. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It took me a second, but that's why I said that's why I went like this. Yeah. I have buddies that play that. And then my son's a Call of Duty guy. So I sit and listen to him yelling at that. I tried playing with them, but I'm just not professional enough, I guess. And I just have fun with Fortnite. It's just, to me, it's easy because I can stop anytime I want and not feel like I'm holding me back if I get a little twitchy, if I play too long. Extreme game, yeah. Rainbow Six, and I'd say, well, Call of Duty's kind of going downhill from what I'm hearing. What was the other one? Rainbow Six. Oh my gosh, now I can't think of the other one. Battleground. That's Clancy's too, isn't it? I didn't mind playing Battleground. If I'm saying that right. That's a whole game. Not can't even think what the game was. I wasn't too bad at that. But that might be the same thing. Rainbow Siege is a good game. I did play that with a couple buddies for like a short time. But like again, I'm not Battlefield there. Thank you. It just wasn't very good. I feel pressured in that game. Too pressured. 2042. Okay, thank y'all. But I haven't played that. When I played Battlefield, the last time I played Battlefield was World War II. What was that? A few years back. $2042. Is that where they're at now? Gamer. I like gamers. Yeah, my games are fighting games. Even my son would say, you want to see Dad play a game? And he's not bad at Fortnite. He's getting good at that. But I'm like Call of Duty, Street Fighter, Bloody Roar, most of the Capcom games. And I let the old school stuff. I guess Gemma let little man play. It was Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter. He laughed at it because this is stupid. I'm like, dude, in the day that was like the game. I have to be in the right mood to play those types of games. I'm a venting mode that I like. See, I'm a sniper too. That's why Giles likes playing with me. Even when I do happen to join him in Call of Duty, is I like to snack. I'm that guy that hangs out in the back and then picks everybody up. I don't know that one. I did play. I don't know that the one I did play. Yeah, the one I played was a World War II. It was one of the older ones, Battlefields. Like I played for the good while. I played for a good while. Sad I play $100 for live. Do you really? Are you serious? Now, PlayStation, which I thought was kind of cool, this weekend did do like a free live where anybody, you could invite your friends that don't have like PlayStation Plus and all that to play for free together, which I thought was pretty cool. That's how they scam you. That's how they get you. And it's sad because I own a couple digital games, but I'll go get the hard copies for them eventually because you lose internet, you don't have a game. Plus, when you own the hard copy, any of the online stuff extra, they're not yours. They can take it away from you anytime they want. I've been a member since they started. Oh, have you? Now you play Xbox or PlayStation, or do you play PC? Now I started on PC. The first game I played on PC, believe it or not, was Doom. Then what was the other one? Sonic. It was Doom, Sonic. What was the other one? I can't even think of the other one. It wasn't a very good game, but it was like I got it for free when Halo 2 went live. Oh, Halo 2. Now I have my Xbox 360, but for some reason it won't let me log in. It works. I just don't want to start a new account. I have all the systems. Yeah. Now, like I don't know if you heard me say, I have 1 through 5 of the PlayStations. Kept them all good shape. It's sad though that I had a Sega with all the attachments that I had to sell when I went through chemo. And then my son we have the 360. We have original Xbox that's out there, the 360, and then he's got the other ones. And then on top of that, he's got a Switch. Plus, we have a PlayStation Vita, which it was nice. It still plays real good. Sometimes I take it with me to the doctor's office while I'm like, ugh. But that's awesome. Yeah, another guy. See, I like playing I just had so many troubles with Xbox, with people stealing your account. Crap, I'm sure it's better now. So I just stuck with PlayStation. I had my ColecoVision for like ever until it finally bit the dust. Except Switch 2. He wants one, but I don't know. He's kind of going to wait. He said, I think I'm going to wait a while before I get it. Yeah, it is a disappointment. And they're kind of greedy too. You hear people talk about them in Japan. They're not big fans of Nintendo either. I mean, when they have games, they have great games, but my youngest is like that. We have a PS1 and through 5. We have a 1 through 5. My 5 is here, and the rest of them are up there. Nintendo, Sega. Yeah, I miss my Sega. I wish I wouldn't have given that up. Xbox, Wii, Switch. Yeah, I think he has a Wii too. Well, the Wii and the Switch basically aren't the same thing. Retro Atari. Now, my Atari bit the dust too a long time ago. I just played it to death. I killed it playing Centipede. All the systems have hacked. Oh, yeah. Well, you can go in and get those. When I worked for this game store a while back ago, I wasn't really working for him. I was just helping him out, keeping me busy. And in those systems where you can put, 3 or 4 different types of cartridges. It played like 4 different systems. Now you get the hacks. But now Nintendo's like, no, not anymore. You mess with our machines, you get in trouble. Yeah, Nintendo. Sad because they do make great games, but they're so. I mean, you even got to watch when you do stuff of theirs on YouTube, or they'll copyright you. Hell, they'll probably copyright me now just for talking about it. I shouldn't say that. So Bounty Hunter plays games too. That's good. I bet Al plays games. She's probably too busy with her game. Vixen, do you play games? I bet I could teach Vixen how. She'd probably be good at some games. Get her Resident Evil, because I'm still a Resident Evil fan too. All the systems have been hacked before. Oh, yeah. So who's safe? If you want retro games, Raspberry Pi, or an old laptop with the. Oh, yeah. Mudahar does that too. He's talked about that. I think he even shows you how. I think there's like an older video where he shows you how you can do all that. He gives you directions. Ordinary Gamers, if you don't know who I'm talking about, Mudahar. It's funny when he started. He was one of the first people I saw do dark web stuff, and try to tell people that it's not as all dark and scary as everybody makes it all to be. It's only that way if you go looking for it. Don't go looking for it, because you may not like what you find. Believe me, I know. Or you're going to find a honeypot, which I found a lot of those too. Well, Mr. Roger Blair, how are you doing, sir? I hope you're having a good weekend so far. What time we got? Oh, we're good. We way good. As everybody's other streams in. That's fine. I'm here. Doing good. That's good, my friend. That's good. Yeah. I did one tonight because it was long. So I'm just kind of hanging and chilling with you folks for a little bit. We're talking video games. We've been talking a little everything, but now we're just hanging out. Hope A-Case comes in. I want to know what he's making tonight. I'm kind of hungry. Hope he's grilling up there in Alaska. And I don't know about Edna. With us not streaming the other night, she came in, I think, last Wednesday for a little bit. I know she's dealing with a lot of pain and some things. So if you listen later, Edna, feel better, stay strong. All of you guys are in my prayers, so then you know that. You can believe this or not. I have the original Counter-Strike. Are you serious? That's awesome. That is so awesome. Counter-Strike. Wow. Oh, Giles would love that. I like to play it on my phone. Oh my, remember Pong? Yep. And the first saw that, I was like, yeah, Pong was like the automatic go-to, the first game you get immediately with the game system for Coleco. You still have I still have my Atari. Mine bit the dust. I did. I killed it in the Coleco. I played them. I played them to death. And I wasn't going to replace them, so I ran them into the ground. Kids played them. I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did. because after the ColecoVision bit the dust, and I would let them play the Coleco and the Atari while I played the Sega. I loved my Sega. I had the Sega 64-bit, then the Sega CD, 2600. Yeah, that's what I had, 2600. And you still got yours? That's awesome. I played mine at the ground. Like I said, both of them was pretty much either a Centipede, was that Adventure, Galactica, all the arcade games I used to play on the Atari, and then the Goofy. But God, I may even actually have some of those games left. I think Giles has them boxed upstairs. I hope they're not in the attic. Ugh. When I sold the Sega setup with the CD and the 64-bit and all that fun and glory, I had I had like Batman Returns, Batman, a bunch of those games. I had like 30 games. God, I can't even remember them all. The guy offered me a big chunk of money for it, so I could sell it because I kept it in good shape. It almost looked brand new. He was like, "Dan, this thing looks good." I go, "It still plays like a babe too." I think I even gave him a television to go with it because he offered me so good money. I remember the game that I always wanted to play and I never got to play was GoldenEye. Everybody loves that game, and I never got to play it. I probably can now. I probably can find it easy now. Because so that was the game back in the day. And the Nintendo, the game I was good at was Duck Hunter. I also like the fishing games. Those were always nice to relax to on the Sega and on the PlayStation 1 and 2. 007 on 64, yeah. GoldenEye. 007 on 64. I never got to play that game. I mean, I probably could now, and it's all over the place, but I wanted to, when it was big in the day, and everybody still talks about that game. Love Nightfire on PC. Never heard that one. Is it good? So I keep all my gaming since I started getting the game systems. I don't game on my PC. Like I said, after I started on the PC with Doom, and I had a Sonic game that was PC player that was on the PC. So a couple of the kid games that you used to be able to get with the download with the floppy disk. When I played Doom, the first two Dooms like crap on the PC. I used to sit there in school and start daydreaming while playing. Teacher always had it fit. Sit up and pay attention. I'm daydreaming color into the screen wagon and living my life at TV. I love it. What was the Duck Hunter game that had the dog on it, and it would come up and laugh at you if you missed the duck? Oh yeah, that's Duck Hunter. Yeah, that's what it was called, Duck Hunter. The Duck Hunter was one of my favorite games. That was the only game I got to play on there. Got to play a little bit of Mario, but those were the only games I ever really got to play on Nintendo. Yeah, Duck Hunter. I love Duck Hunter. A buddy, that was what he got the system at Christmas when we were young. I was not that young, but when it came out, and his wife, No, it wasn't his wife. His girlfriend got it for him, and came with the gun, the Duck Hunter game, and then she bought him Mario Kart, I think it was, or something like that. But he had Mario. He had gone out and bought Mario already. He had to get another play in it. I have that cartridge with the Mario Duck Hunt. Oh, do you really in Hogan's Alley? Really? That's probably worth a little piece of change. It's amazing these guys ask what they ask for these things. For some of those, it's like I had Jersey Devil, and the kids had taken it to school with that, and remember in the movie Small Soldiers? Actually, the game for that was not bad. But they took it to school, daycare or something, and the games got stolen. And I found it. Well, I finally found somebody that had copies of Jersey, but I had to buy the one with not really the best. Didn't have the cover art and stuff. It was just in a case. It plays great, but you can tell it's been to heck and back. But I would have loved to have kept that and my Small Soldiers game. Small Soldiers game was fun because there was also an area where you could fight each other. Had all the cheats for you. Remember, you used to be able to get cheat codes, especially with the fighting games. They'd give you all the codes to get all the extra characters. Unlimited life. Those were the days. And the magic, the genie cartridge where you could stick it in and give you all your cheats. What I want is an all Guitar Hero for the PS2. Do they have that? I know they have the. I know they have it. Do they? So that was one game I was never good at, so I never played it. I just knew I would be awful at it. When I was a bass player, I was an awful bass player. So I was in a punk band. I could get away with banging away. I ain't gonna lie. The guitar in a Guitar Hero guitar for the Wii. Now, how's the Wii version compared to the PS2 version? Is it about the same? So that's it. But now my nephew loved that game. He had the guitar and everything. I just couldn't get into it. I sucked at it too bad. Blowing on those cartridges. Oh yeah. Now it was nice because PlayStation 1 up were discs, and it was so much easier to take care of them. And a lot of people didn't know on PlayStation 2 you could actually watch movies on, which a lot of people didn't know. What sucks is they didn't make the PlayStation 5 backwards compatible. That would have been nice. Now I still have my PlayStation 3, but it sucks. There's some stuff I can't do on it anymore because you can't get logged on to those to play. That's the only thing. But man, I have all my games. Easy fix. Pushing the cartridge in, then wiggle it, then turn it on. Then turn it on. None of my friends never had that problem. Clean the copper contacts. Yeah. Now I know the one buddy of mine who's a big Nintendo guy. He's got all the Nintendos, and that's what he did with the older ones. He just kept all the things clean. I remember watching him sit there with a Q-tip with a little bit of alcohol, clean them. That would be nice about not. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool if the PS5 could backwards compatible? It would be nice. I mean, it does play some of the PlayStation 4 games, but not all of them. Now, it was nice when you got the PlayStation 3, you were able to play a lot of the PS2 games, and the PS4 lets you play some of the PS3 games. But with the get-ups they've got, the possibilities they could do now, they could literally make a system that could play all those games. But they want you to download them. CD cleaner. Yeah, I had a CD cleaner. Even the one that you crank, you put it in there and clean it, and then crank it and clean it for you. It never scratched mine. I had one buddy that bought the same one, and it always scratches his disc. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? I said, look at mine. I never have a problem. What are you beating on that thing? My friend had one of those VHS games where you watch the VHS and you play a game. Which one was it? It was about a haunted house. It was kind of fun to go through the step by step. And then he had a mystery one too. His mom and dad had a mystery one. They'd have friends come over and they play. It was like this, wow. But they were big game people anyways. They liked the board games and stuff like that. But the VHS games were kind of cool in their day, kind of predicting things. Now I have a brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law now, had a Dreamcast. He loved that thing. What was the other one he had that he liked a lot? Up in the mountains, Norman got mad face if you use Hooch to clean those connections. I always used a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And then I had some other stuff I used too. I don't even remember what that was back in the day. I know. Genesis. Now, my Genesis, he had that. I liked my Genesis. I did have a Genesis. Actually, it was Sega Genesis. But the thing about the Genesis was it had its flaws. But it was a good system. The games were not very many, though. It's the same thing with the Dreamcast. There wasn't a whole lot of games. What was the other one? Neo Geo. He had one of those too. There are a game named Jack's Cute Little Lizard. Always says, "Hey, lady." Oh, I remember that. I remember those commercials actually. I remember when they used to advertise games. Remember PlayStation Magazine? We used to get, when PlayStation 1 came out, you'd get a magazine, you'd get a disc with all the demos. That's how my kids got hooked on Spyro the Dragon, was on the demo discs. Yeah, they had a bunch of fighting games. Yeah, because I think that's where Virtual Fighter came from, was Dreamcast. I liked Virtual Fighter, where you could make your own fighter and all that. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, think about that. A lot of game platforms. I've seen it all. From the beginning to the end. Well, it's coming to an end. I don't know. They keep ripping people off. Soul Calibur. Yeah. That's the other game I was thinking of. Thank you. I was thinking of another game because he'd like to play Soul Calibur. He'd whoop my butt. But that was a fun game. But I remember Virtual Fighter because he lived with us for a little bit, and his wife lived with us for a little bit when we lived in a big house on the west side. And I got to make my own fighter. I had like 3 fighters I made, and I was all bummed out that I lost my fighters when he moved out. But I like Virtual. I forgot about Soul Calibur, and that's a great game actually. That's like I'm trying to find a copy of Bloody Roar. A copy of that, a good copy of Bloody Roar, was one of my favorite games because you were fighting monsters. You turn into monsters. That was like my favorite PlayStation 2 game when it came to fighting, next to Mortal Kombat. I just like the feel of the game and everything. So I'm looking for a good, solid copy of that. I had all the characters. I'd work. I didn't even use cheat codes. I actually had work to get everything. Primal Fury. That's a good game too. Primal is a great cartoon, but Primal Fury is a good game. I remember that. Alice was hot. Yeah, she was. Well, when I started doing the other games, when I wasn't playing fire games in the day, it was Resident Evil. I like the noir games. It's pretty funny because actually that looks better on the StreamYard than it does on the YouTube chat. It's weird. On the StreamYard chat, it's more together, and the YouTube, it seems more stretched out. Yeah, I don't have enough buttons for all that. My keyboard is big. I keep it pretty basic. Heck, some days I have hard enough typing. Like the other one morning, I got a bunch of stuff. I had paperwork that I'd have to do online. And my fingers were so tired afterwards. So I don't play that, and everybody tells me Fortnite and stuff like that would probably be easier for me to play on PC. But I got so used to using a controller. Now I know you can use a controller because I used a controller when I played Doom. Now, actually, like I said, StreamYard, it looks better than it does. It looks better on StreamYard than it does on YouTube. Is what I'm saying. Because everything you put up so far has looked better on StreamYard in my chat in StreamYard than it did on YouTube, which is weird. But then again, I get on the actual live feed, you're behind. But in the chat, I get the StreamYard, then I get the chat. Or I'll get most of the times I get the StreamYard chat before I get I get the YouTube chat before I get the StreamYard chat, which is hilarious. But the live feed is like a couple seconds behind on the YouTube, but yet the YouTube is faster than the StreamYard chat. It's easier on PC if your mouse has 10 buttons. Easier to, oh, really? Now, Giles went out and bought one of those gaming mouses. It's pretty nice, but I know guys just use the keyboard and they kick butt. It's like, what? Yeah. 10 buttons on it. I can imagine all those buttons on this little mouse. That's insane. No, but he's got a gaming mouse. I mean, it doesn't have, I don't know if it had 10 buttons on it, but it's nice. But he plays most of his games on console too. There's only a couple games he plays on PC. I couldn't tell you which ones they were. I know that they don't use PlayStation chat, which is nice now because I know at PlayStation, some of the games like Fortnite and stuff are letting you cross-platform so you can talk in the game. But the problem about talking in the game, even when you have it just your group, they can listen in anytime they want. I'm not a big fan of that. Now, YouTube's pretty good about not butting in unless you're raising heck. If you just go through the YouTube, not YouTube, but the PlayStation chat. But then you can't include everybody. So I think what they do is they either go through Discord or something and use that chat to play with. thanks to this fake gamers, my mouse that was 30 now is, yeah. It's a shame because that's like, I went and looked at the price of gaming stuff for PC for him for his birthday coming up. It's nuts. I mean, it's she's still. I mean, even the console stuff is so expensive now. And to pay, I mean, games used to be $60. Well, they're still kind of $60, but you still don't get a complete game. I remember up until the PlayStation 3, when you got a game, you got pretty much a complete game. Now they make you buy all this stuff. Oh, you got to have this extra and this extra. I don't collect like the costume. That's like Fortnite. I really don't play for the skins. I have like a ton of skins, but I probably only use 10 of them. I rotate between. And most of them are girls, which kind of bothers me. It's like I was looking at all the things that I've won and gotten over the years, and it's like, why is most of this women? I mean, come on. But I guess I'm okay with it. Brings the girls in. Gemma, man, I told her, it's a shame, Gemma, I couldn't just give you all my women, and because I don't play them. There's a couple I use when I play with her, but that's it. Just so we match or something. But I'm not like a big deal about the skins on any of the games. Though I gotta admit, I got on the new Doom game. Now I bought the actual new Doom game or the extras for it, but I'm still playing Eternal. I'm having a hard time. Ugh. Actually, I've been bouncing back for Eternal and the first Doom, and then I got all the retro games on digital. Plus, PlayStation always really good about having in their PlayStation Plus catalog. All the prices are nuts now. Now I can understand the systems to a degree, but what they do with the systems, just a few more, a little attachments, a little tweak here, a little bit there, and Xbox can already be used as a computer. I don't know why PlayStation don't do it, but it does keep the price down too. But still, $600. And when the PlayStation 5 came out, the way people were fighting over them and paying $2,000 or $3,000, them fools. Why? You wait long enough, it'll be out. Just give them time to get caught up. I mean, they sold pretty fast. They actually, I believe, outsold the Xbox. But the prices are nuts. Well, actually, the prices are nuts for everything. But that's why I go to game stores. And I don't go to the mall and Paul ones. I don't mind going into like GameStop once in a while. Sometimes you can get a good deal out of them, but they're so jinky. I like to go to a mom and pop place. There's a couple places. There's a place I work. Excuse me, one sec. Well, like I said, I really didn't work with him, but he was just this independent gamer with a shop. He had some good stuff, and he said, but now a lot of those game stores have become places to go play your cards, like your card games. With my membership, I played most games for free. Yeah, I have PlayStation Premium, so there's a great catalog on that if I want to switch it up a little bit. Like, I never played the new Prince of Persia, so I played it. It's not bad. Ran through it pretty quickly. But I like going on there because they have the PlayStation Plus, the premiums. I mean, it's got a pretty good catalog, good mix of stuff. Yeah. But I still like getting, cranking up the old PlayStation 1 or the 2. There he is. I just asked about you. What you got on the how you doing, sir, Mr. AK? Good weather up there, I hope. And you're having a good weekend, I hope, too. I can't play games very much anymore. Something I'm trying to force myself to do work through. It's just a mental block left over. Yeah. The reason I can only play for so long because of the tremors. I play, I start playing over 2 hours. It becomes real noticeable. And it also depends on the game. So the tremors kind of hold me back sometimes on certain games. But I'll play. I still play. It's great for eye and hand coordination. Dumping rain hard, so I expect glacial flooding. But that's right. You were talking about that last time too. Did you really still getting a lot of rain, huh? Did you guys feel any of that earthquake over there across that little ocean there, the country over on the other side there? Did you feel any of that earthquake? Any of those rumblings? There's a volcano going off too over there somewhere. I think 2 of them actually now. But yeah, that sucks. So you can't grill out? That blows. I just turn on my system in 15 minutes. Soul Calibur 6. We'll finish downloading. Oh, there you go. Soul Calibur 6. It's hard to believe that long. That's like Final Fantasy. How long that game's been around. And for these poor people will be waiting for GTA 6 forever. And from what I'm hearing, a lot of people are going to be pissed when it does come out. At 330 MP, let's go. There you go. You're cranking it. The basin is over 1,400 feet deep and climbing. Wow, dude. Are you in lowland or highland there, buddy? Good, sir. You guys have had some serious warm weather, too. So wouldn't surprise me. But I'm grilling some chicken. There you go. That's what we were going to have tonight, but we ended up just kind of, I've got a sick puppy dog. So son just said, "Oh, just come home, bring me some munchies home." And you and Pop had, Miss Sugar was kind of doing the shaky shake. So we just kind of nitpicked tonight, and I'm going to grill out chicken tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I got barbecue chicken and marinade and barbecue sauce now in the refrigerator. May even have an early dinner. We haven't been eating until like almost 6:30, 7 o'clock. Drives Dad nut because he likes to eat, between 5:30 and 6. But it's been like 7:30 when we've been eating. It's been so hot. I hate turning on the stove. It makes the house hot. And we ran out of propane, so I got to go get propane. So if I grill out tomorrow, I'm going to use the old charcoal. Pollute the world. GTA 6 costs more than the truth. This is true. Man, they're putting all this money in it. But from what I've seen and from what I've heard, a lot of people are going to be upset. And it's like with GTA, you download GTA 5 and all its add-ons. Man, unless you have a hard drive for your systems, that's a lot of memory. I went to download it the other day because I was going to play with them, and Little Man plays it. So I was going to download it, and I'm like, man, that just like that. And I haven't gone in that, got the PS5 edition, the memory card and all that to make it bigger. I don't play that much, and I pretty much have a set of games I play until I'm done, and then I move on to the next set. And if I play a game like on PS5 that I haven't played before, in the PS Plus store, or I'm in the premium in the catalog, I'll go get it, and that way I have it. There you go. I think that's what my son's got on his. Okay. Yeah, he went out and bought the card, bought the add-on, whatever you do. I don't need that much. Actually, I still have space left. Like I said, if I download a game, I play it, get it done, and I take it off. I delete it until I want to play it again. And that's only on the the download games. And then I have my Mortal Kombat's down here beside me for the PS, because I got the Mortal Kombat 11 and then 1. I bought for the PS5. I bought it. It was only $10, so I bought the Ninja Turtles games from the old systems and arcade games. It's got like them all on there. Some of them are kind of glitchy though, but they're fun. I mean, I don't have to go out. I never had those for the systems out there, so it was like, oh, okay, I'll just buy them all, play them on the PlayStation 5. Docking station, yeah. And when it comes to the extras, I don't get to know them too well. I like a good controller. Like I got this one I got with the dragon. When I bought it, I bought these stickers, but I didn't like the way the dragon looked on it. Could have been bigger. They could have done a little different, but heck. But that's about the extent. And I have like 5 pairs between me and my son, probably 7, 8 pairs of headsets. He buys new ones like every year and brings back him. I'm just like collecting them. So he gave me his PlayStation ones, and then he turned around because he won a PlayStation Digital at work, like one of Gemma's kids did. He went in and because he come home and goes, you won't believe what I just won. I go, what? He goes, I want to play PlayStation Digital at work. I'm like, no way. He goes, yeah. I go, what is with people winning? So he sold that with some extras to a friend of his who wanted the game system. And he didn't mind it being a digital. So I was like, believe. Didn't you buy something that you could plug into it that actually plays the disc? I think they should offer that for people who get the digital or got stuck with the digital. I made sure I got a disc. I had to have a disc. I like to own my games, but especially games I like. A docking station is nice. He's got one upstairs and everything. He's got all that stuff upstairs. It's a nice setup. And plus, he works for a company. They're printers. And they do like the billboards and the like decals you see on trucks and stuff. They do that stuff. So he actually made his own stuff for his PlayStation, decked out his own PlayStation. Put on new decals to put on top and the bottom. He got real good at it. He's basically doing what I did for a living, except I did t-shirts. He's doing actual other things. They should give a discount with the digital. But the disc was a little bit more expensive. And the digital was a little cheaper. But the problem, like I said, with the digital, it's always nice to have your own games. Because if you lose internet, you can't play your games. That's the way I always looked at it. That and they don't, digital games, even if you pay for them, they're still not yours anymore. They made sure of that. It's like I can't on my PlayStation 3. I had Batman downloaded, Arkham. I can't play it unless I go get the disc. But he's got it upstairs. But yeah, I downloaded it. I can't get online. I can get online and it plays, but it's real glitchy. So I may go get it. So I go upstairs and get his disc and play on his disc. Bring it down and play. I was playing on PS3, no, the PS1, last week I was playing Search for Atlantis, the Disney Atlantis movie game. I forget how fun that was. No, I suck at the swimming parts. You guys play Paperboy? I liked Paperboy. That wasn't a bad game. That was a big game in its day. Oh my God. I'm going to call it at 2, folks, so I can get up in the morning and do a few things. Thanks for hanging out with me. Anybody got any last words? I don't even know how many's in. Oh, 8 of us in the room. Well, thank you, folks, for coming and hanging out. Yeah, I'm going to call it at 2. And then next week, I'm going to come on. Next Saturday, I'll be here at midnight. I'll start about midnight. I'll probably start anywhere between 1/4 till midnight because I get antsy. That's why I started early tonight, because I was going to start at midnight tonight, but I was getting antsy. So when I put the YouTube thing up early and didn't even post anything in Facebook until later because I was going to make it. Oh, good night, Al. You were still paying attention, huh? I'm not rushing off, so you guys are all good. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and go for tonight. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Great talk. Al, you get back to work. Spend time with your customers, with your company. Cindy Lee comes in just as I'm leaving. You Lee, woman, I love you. Thanks, every bounty hunter. Thank you for coming in. Topsoil, thanks for coming in. If I remember his name right. I feel so bad. I know I did that wrong. I got to go all the way to the beginning. Nightmare, Vixen, she might have gone to sleep, bless her heart. Nighthawk for coming in. Oh, Johnny Topside. Sorry, Johnny. Now, after next week, because I'm only going to do 2 hours from midnight to 2 next week, because I'm going to be on with Nighthawk Sunday morning next week. And then after that, I'm going to have my Sundays again, so we can hang out all night till the sun comes up, as far as I care. Because I want to get back to that. I miss those midnight streams. I was. You better be. Don't want to get in trouble. I'm talking out. But thank you all for hanging out with me. AK, man, come back in. I love you being here with us. Same thing with you, Miss Cindy. Thank you for coming in. Lisa saying hi. I feel bad. You and Edna did that to me twice now. I feel bad. Usually because I'd go last week I went to 3 hours, but I want to get up and take care of a few things before I take the Saturday afternoon. I want to try to chill by noon Saturday. I want to be done. I'm sitting on my butt. Today wasn't too bad. I did a little of everything, but like I said, I've been dealing with a sick dog. My poor Puff. It's actually my son's dog, but it's more Grandpa's, Pop's dog now, but he's having a rough day, and so we've been keeping an eye on. I've been like all over him and Pop today because Pop was looking a little rough today too. I was playing Maid today, trying to keep everybody happy. Bounty Hunter, it's been nice. You and Al coming in, AKA. It's nice to see all you guys. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anybody. All you folks in the background that was ghosting, thank you so much for coming in and just even ghosting. I hope you had some of a relaxing time. Roger Blair, thanks for popping in if you're still out there. Mr. Nightmare is all over my board tonight. Bounty Hunter, thank you guys for chatting it up. Appreciate you guys all so much. I'm a gabber. I hate saying goodbye, especially when people come in at the last moment. It makes me feel bad. Vixen, I hope you get some rest tonight. I hope if you're still out there, sleep well, my dear. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Uso, that's who I miss. Uso, you come yell at me anytime now. Because Uso's been real good about being here. And all you people ghosting, like I said, I appreciate you all. Everybody have a wonderful, fun evening. Yeah, I hope he does too. My son would probably take it home. He got really close to his dog. It was his dog. We don't know if he just had belly issues, but he was real big. He was real sluggish yesterday. And all he wanted to do today was lay outside. He'd lay outside for a while, then kind of mope his way in, lay down by my mom pop. But he hardly barked today. He hardly wagged his tail. He barked and wagged his tail when Giles came home from softball today, which was a good sign. But he basically had to carry him up the stairs, which kind of concerned me because he's usually a pretty active dog. So we're just keeping an eye on him. I'm hoping he didn't get hurt or anything out in the backyard. We had some neighbors that were not very nice. But I don't think that's the case. I think Grandpa gave him one too many milk bones, is what I think it is. But everybody have a wonderful night. Thanks for your love. I'm Gavin. I'm just trying to make a little time for the people that popped in at the last minute. For Cindy Lee. I enjoy your company too, Cindy Lee. So I hope I see you soon again. As Nightmare does. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm on Facebook. Yell for me anytime you guys want. Also, same thing with TikTok. Make sure you visit Gemma's on TikToks and her shorts. Like them. Share them. We're doing those for fun. I know she has a good time doing them. I have fun. I just do a bunch and then put them out and then sit for a while. But yeah, check her out. I hope to see you folks. She'll be 10 o'clock Tuesday night here. Premiere. I should be here this time. I missed one of them and I felt so bad because I got busy. But okay, now I'm going to shut up, say goodnight. Have a wonderful one, folks. Much love to you all. And I appreciate you guys coming in. It does make these streams so much fun. And I will see you Wednesday night. And Wednesday night, I'm not going to rush anybody off because I don't have anything going on Thursday, which is nice, except for just house clean because it's supposed to be pretty toasty again. So, yeah, that's I keep rambling. Good night, folks. Have a good one. I'll see you on the flip side, hopefully, of Tuesday. And much love. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, chatting with me, and ghosting in the background. I do appreciate it. You folks have a wonderful one. I'll see you Tuesday night. And if I don't see you Tuesday at 10 Eastern Time, p.m., I'll see you hopefully Wednesday night at 11. All right, folks. Have a good one.